When I was in Iraq, our convoy was hit. It was bad. After I came home, I could still hear booms and see tracer fire. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
With help from DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
Today, I'm part of DAV. We're veterans helping veterans to get the benefits they've earned. And I give my veterans my all.
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Naomi Mathis, thank you for your service. May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Greetings and salutations on this lovely Thursday morning. We welcome you into Sports 56 Mornings. It's officially the Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 edition of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you. We're in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Their preseason patio and pool sale continues. What does that mean? Well, you buy now, you save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture and pools and all kinds of great stuff, because pool season is just around the corner. You buy now to get ahead of the summer rush. Special early bird pricing. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. The first hour of the program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Later on in the hour, we're going to have a little conversation with Kyle Storms from the Big Green Egg. So if you've been on the fence whether or not to purchase one for the spring and summer this year, finally going to go ahead and do it, and you're still just a little hesitant, well, Kyle will have all the answers for you coming up later on in the hour. As far as some guests are concerned today, we got some interesting guests coming on. At 8:05, Marvin Stockwell is going to join us. He's the co-founder of the Coliseum Coalition. He's one of the guys who does not want the Coliseum to go anywhere. He has ideas. He's had ideas. Obviously, you know our stance on this thing. If you listen to the show readily, we're going to give him a chance to express his ideas and why he thinks the Coliseum should not be imploded. That's Marvin Stockwell at 8:05 from the Coliseum Coalition. Matt Babcock will join us at 9:25, the owner and founder of Matt Babcock Sports and NBA draft analyst. The guy is good. We will talk about the players for this year's draft, the 2023 draft, who's hot, who's not, some interesting names on his two-round draft, including some local players, and also we'll get his thoughts on Wembanyama, and does he think he's the second coming, if you will, in the NBA eventually. So Matt Babcock at 9:25. We'll talk plenty of college basketball. Big night last night, and a big night for Brandon Miller as he played for Alabama and went off as he had really a career day. And we will discuss what Alabama had to say about Miller. We'll also talk about the Tigers returning to action tonight with a huge game at Wichita State. That'll be a 6 p.m. tip-off from the Koch Center in Wichita, Kansas. And then the Grizzlies back in action tonight as they will host they will be at Philadelphia to take on the Sixers, and they will do so shorthanded. We'll give you the information on that. If you want to hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines, they are available to you by calling in or texting in at 901-360-8255. You can also Send us a message, comment, question, concern via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or send it to the website at www.sportsmemphis.com. That is your lineup for this Thursday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. What's going on, man?
Not much. Looking forward to talking to Matt Babcock later because tonight and tomorrow night, the G League Ignite are in town to take on the Hustle. And Scoot Henderson, who is the projected number 2 pick behind Wembanyama, will be in action for the Ignite. They've got a couple of other guys who are projected first-round picks that are interested to get his take on. But I'm really excited to get to see Scoot Henderson the next couple of nights and see what he's able to do. And I wish that Wembanyama would have taken up on their invite and played for the Ignite this year. That would have been a lot of fun. But nonetheless, we get Scoot. And Scoot Henderson is a great name, so I'm all for that.
So scoot on down to the Landers Center the next 2 nights to watch the Ignite and the Hustle. The Grizzlies in action tonight in Philadelphia against the Sixers. Grizzlies at 35-22, the Sixers at 38-19. News yesterday involving the roster. Steven Adams did have a light workout with the team, but Taylor Jenkins told the media that he will not play tonight. They are hoping that it'll be sooner than later. They continue to evaluate him day to day. So no Adams tonight against Embiid. And then also the news that Luke Kennard is out, non-COVID illness. So no Luke Kennard. I was excited to see Luke and get him going and knocking down 3-4 triples a game and being a big part of what will hopefully be a run, a push in the playoffs. And that's all still a possibility, obviously. This is not some big-time injury. It's just an illness that we don't know exactly what it is, but he will not be in Philadelphia with the team.
Yeah, unfortunate, obviously. Hopefully he's able to get over whatever this is quickly and be back in action very soon. And as you know, Steven Adams had talked about Taylor Jenkins saying that they would probably have a better update on a timetable later in the week, as he has not done any contact stuff yet, just non-contact work in practice, no 5-on-5 stuff. So looks like he's still a little bit away from returning, but hopefully, like Taylor Jenkins said, by the end of the week we'll get more of an update on exactly what that timetable might be as we go into and approach that 5-week number that the original timetable was 3 to 5 weeks, and we are now entering basically the 5th week of that. So hopefully he'll be back in the very near future.
Also, as far as roster moves are concerned, Jake LaRavia and Zaire Williams are now going to once again have an assignment with the Hustle. So they'll be playing tonight in South Haven while the team is playing in Philadelphia. Is it simply a numbers game with the roster that these guys need to get playing time because they haven't been getting playing time with the big team? Or is this any kind of concern that LaRavia may have been a bad draft pick and that Zaire Williams is not the guy they thought he would be?
I think it's two separate. Like LaRavia certainly is that they want to get him minutes, and I mean there's just not minutes for him with the Grizzlies, so they're getting him minutes, and he's played down with the Hustle a lot, but he's played very well. He's shot the ball great. He has been really, really good when he's been with the Hustle, and it's just a matter of continuing to get experience, development, all of that stuff. And I think with Zaire, they're just trying to get him some confidence and just it's minutes, but also he has struggled shooting the basketball this year, and they're trying to get him that opportunity to go out there and just kind of, I think, probably shoot freely, not have to worry, not have to be concerned about missing. If you're with the Grizzlies and you're only getting a few minutes a game, and you're only getting a few shots a game, it's tough down with the Hustle. He can shoot a little more freely, not have to worry about it. He knows he's going to get plenty of shots. Now, the unfortunate side of that is so far when he has played with the Hustle, Zaire has not shot the ball well down there. He is under 30% from 3-point range with the Hustle. So it would be nice to just see him, for him to start seeing some shots go in and get some confidence back in his shot. And I think that's the biggest thing they're trying to get from him right now is just let him start making some shots and get that confidence back.
At the end of the show yesterday, I had mentioned that Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, feels that load management is not an issue in the NBA, and I think you commented on that and didn't think it was a huge issue either. They have put together a survey published in The Athletic, and this is after NBA All-Star Weekend, so I assume they polled a lot of the All-Stars, if not all of the All-Stars. DeMar DeRozan of the Chicago Bulls said something interesting. They asked, what should be the requirements to be eligible for the MVP award as far as games played? And right now there's no requirements. He said a minimum of 78 games out of 82. I don't know how many players in this world, in today's NBA, play 78 games and miss only 4. I think that's radical. I think that's crazy in this day and age. But I understand his point, because I think the point overall is that you have to play the bulk of the games. You can't be missing 15 games. You can't be missing 20 games. And I'm not sure how many games played all of the past MVPs have played. Jokic the last 2 years, I'm assuming he's played the bulk of the games. He doesn't miss much for Denver. But overall, from what he's saying, I agree. And I don't know if that would help out with load management and help out with players playing more, because the teams themselves would like to see their players win awards, but really pales in comparison to the team going far in the playoffs. That's the most important thing, and they feel that if these players are periodically rested, then they're more fresh for the postseason run. But I do think there should be a minimum amount of games.
I certainly 78. Like, that's a ridiculous number.
That's ridiculous.
I'm sure some voters, it's voted on, so voters, I'm sure a lot of voters look at it and will not vote for somebody that didn't play a certain number of games. I don't know whether you set an exact number that makes you eligible or not. I don't necessarily believe you need to do that. I certainly, again, 78 would be ridiculous. That means you can't get injured and miss like 10 days of the season. That's basically, that's way too high. But I understand DeMar DeRozan is a guy who generally plays every game. So somebody like that, I could see where he's going to have that thought process. But yeah, that's a ridiculous number.
Only 25 players in the NBA played in 78 or more games last season. That was down from 102 in 2011. That was a year before the lockout. And 98 in 2002, when the league had one fewer team. So obviously it has gone down and down and down, with a bunch of cockamamie fake injuries or illnesses, which I think is still it's problematic because of the fans and their hard-earned dollars going to entertainment, and they pick NBA games and the stars aren't playing. Legitimate injuries, I understand that. I wouldn't mind a minimum amount of games. Now, 78 is ludicrous, but I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. It says DeRozan's radical solution would have disqualified a number of MVP contenders in the NBA's 5 most recent 82-game seasons. These include every player to receive an MVP vote in 2022, including DeRozan himself, first and third place finishers Giannis and Paul George, first and third place finishers, that was in 2019, first and third place finisher James Harden and Anthony Davis in 2018, third place finisher Kawhi Leonard in 2017, and second and third place finishers Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James in 2016. So again, just an interesting little food for thought. I'm probably sure, I think it's safe to say that DeRozan's probably not alone. There's probably others that feel this way, and I don't know if we'll see anything different going forward, but I do believe that load management is more of an issue than what Adam Silver said. All right, so NBA tonight resumes. and it should be a fight to the finish. We've talked about it all week long with the Grizzlies having 25 games remaining. Looking at maybe, I'm not sure if it's an exact magic number. We don't know because we don't know what other teams will do. But 14 out of 25 seems to be the number that probably keeps the Grizzlies in second place. It's going to be at times daunting. This early part of the final push is hard. Going to Philly, playing Denver at home, the Lakers, if they're healthy, are certainly going to be formidable. You have that West Coast road swing coming up. And then you have a bunch of cupcakes in that 25-game schedule, including 3 shots at the Rockets. You would think you would take care of business, and a few others that are floundering this year in the NBA. But it's going to be fun watching the Grizzlies down the stretch.
Yeah, it's, watching them and then also just kind of seeing, watching Phoenix, what they are once Kevin Durant makes his return.
Did you hear
which
that
looks
news?
like it'll be next
Yep.
week
Mm-hmm.
that he will be back. And so, what do they look like? Can they stay healthy? I mean, you've got 3 guys on that team who have had injury issues, and Durant, Booker, and Chris Paul, like the 3 main guys, and we'll see what they look like when they are healthy, and how healthy they can stay. So that'll be interesting. And there's a lot of love for the Clippers right now. It looks like everybody now is on the Clippers bandwagon, and I don't know. I get it. Like Paul George is good. I know that obviously Kawhi is a great player. All that stuff. They're healthy. I don't think Russell Westbrook helps. I think Russell Westbrook probably hurts that. But I don't understand this kind of love affair right now with the Clippers as one of the top teams. Like feel like they're one of the top 2 teams. Like a lot of people seem like it's Denver, Phoenix, the Clippers. Like those are the 3 teams in the West that one of those 3 teams will come out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know why there's the love affair. Kawhi has not stayed healthy. Maybe he will. Maybe it was a facade, all the games that he missed. Again, we talk about load management. PG-13 obviously is a great player, and Kawhi is a great player when he's on the floor and doing his thing, and that has not been frequent. But Westbrook's interesting. It didn't work out in Los Angeles, and there's some that may say, well, how do you expect him to be successful in with the other Los Angeles team if he wasn't with LeBron James playing alongside? Well, LeBron James is a point forward. LeBron James needs the ball in his hand, and Russell Westbrook, to be effective, needs the ball in his hand. In Los Angeles, with the Clippers, I can see where Russell can have more success as the primary playmaker with Kawhi and PG-13 not necessarily needing the ball, especially Kawhi. So I'm not giving up on Russell Westbrook to help a team out, but I'm with you. I just don't know why all of a sudden it's like, yeah, the Clippers, they're one of the teams to beat. They've been mediocre to above average all season long to this point.
Heck, even Kendrick Perkins, the Grizzlies' biggest supporter, had the Clippers as his number 2 team in the West, and he didn't have the Grizzlies in the top 3. He went Denver, Clippers, Phoenix as his top 3. We've lost the support of Kendrick Perkins here.
That's not good. That guy's a cheerleader for the Grizzlies, for goodness sakes. And it appears that a lot of people have ruled out Dallas. I don't know if it'll work, but I can't rule out a team that has Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic if Kyrie Irving plays and, again, doesn't want to take off because there's an eclipse coming. But Phoenix right now, and, again, this is all with a caveat. If you're healthy, with just about every team out there, including the Grizzlies. But if they're healthy, Durant, Booker, Paul, who do you stop? Can you stop anybody? And then they could always dump it inside to Ayton. That's a dangerous team. Jokic, as good as he is and what he has around him in Denver, that's a really good team. Clippers, I got questions. Dallas, because we don't know if it'll work with with Doncic and with Irving, we don't know. The Grizzlies, we know. We know what you're going to get with the Grizzlies. Is it good enough? Did they do enough before the trade deadline to improve their team knowing that some of these other teams were going to improve themselves? Did they take a step back? Not so much that they did something wrong, because I think the acquisition of Luke Kennard was strong, was a good move. But did other teams do enough to surpass the Grizzlies? And a lot of people feel that a couple of them certainly did. But as we've pointed out this week, Brevin Knight was on with us. We talked about it yesterday on the show as well, that the Grizzlies are in good position to still finish second in the West. And if you're in second place, obviously you're going to get home court against anybody except for the number one seed. So you want to hang in there and finish second like you did last year.
A texter texts in. He says, just curious to know if you guys know the answer to this question. Is Zaire a shooter, or are the Grizz wanting and trying to make him one? It seems like he's really good at running the floor, catching lobs on fast breaks from what I've seen from him. Well,
I think it's the latter. I think the latter.
Well, it's they want both. I mean, last year as a rookie, when again, and remember, his college, 1 year of college, he didn't play hardly at all.
Right.
And he came into the NBA as a rookie, and he shot 31.4% on nearly 4 attempts per game. Obviously not a great percentage, but as a rookie who really hadn't played in over a year, I mean, very little basketball, it's pretty darn good just to step in limited time and be able to knock down threes at that rate. The hope would be then now he's going into year number 2, much like Desmond Bane made the step forward. Like you're just, the progression would be he's going to improve. And if you could get him up, I don't think they're expecting him to be Desmond Bane or Luke Kennard. I don't think they think he's a 40% three-point shooter, but if he's a 35, 36% three-point shooter, that allows him to then, and the other thing then would be, they sent him to Summer League, kind of like exactly what they did with Desmond Bane the year prior, put the ball in his hands, let him try and become a playmaker, do things off the dribble. They want him to use his athleticism, but they also want him to be able to make shots. And again, he showed last year that he has the ability to make shots. This year, he has not been able to make shots. I mean, he's shooting 24% from three-point range. He seems to have lost the confidence. And if he can't make the shots, well, teams don't have to close out on him. And then the athleticism, it all kind of things. And plus, he's lost minutes. It's a tough situation right now for Zaire. And again, I think they're hoping that he can kind of find it with the hustle and find his shot and get going again. Because I do think they still think he's a big part of the future. It's just he's got to figure it out right now.
Last year, post All-Star break for Zaire, from 3, he was 36%.
Yeah. I mean, if he's shooting that, he's not got to make that corner 3. But they also want him to use his athleticism and do things, catch the lobs. Certainly is great at running the court. There's no doubt. And that certainly is a strength of his.
Yes, but if I understand the texter correctly, and it can be both, and you just explained why it can be both, and the numbers that Zach brought up were numbers that all put smiles on our faces. We thought at first they made a mistake, and who knows in the long run if they did, in drafting him when they drafted him. But his slow start turned into a fast finish, and he became an integral part of the rotation for the Grizzlies. But I think the simple answer, in my estimation, to that question is the latter part of that statement or question, is that they want him to be a versatile, well-rounded, all-around type player. He's not Desmond Bane. He's not Luke Kennard. He's not a guy that in his limited time at Stanford was known as this great three-point shooter. He can be a good three-point shooter, but he is more versatile, and I think that's what they're trying to develop into, a versatile player that can go up and down, like you said, can finish, can play better defense. So I think the latter part more so, but certainly well-rounded. Every player they want on that team to be able to shoot. But some can and some can't, or some can do it better than others.
And I mean, the thing to remember with Zaire is he's still 21 years old.
Sure.
Like he's still extremely young. Doesn't turn 22 until September. So he is I don't think the team's ready to certainly give up on everything else. There's still plenty of opportunity for development with Zaire.
Teams will give players, no matter what sport it is, a chance to develop. But after a while, they'll move on. All I've been hearing about is what the Jets are going to do, right? Zach Wilson wasn't given a ton of time. They drafted him as high as they did. He's on the outskis, man. It's move on. You either put up or shut up. And Zaire, they're giving him a chance now to develop more and play more with the hustle. He'll get his opportunities again with the big team. And if he struggles, then he's going to be left behind because they will move on. They don't have time to watch a player develop over 4 years, 5 years, that kind of stuff. It's you want instant gratification. You're not going to get that. You're going to get a little time to develop. And that's what they're doing right now with Zaire Williams. So the book is not closed on him, but it's not going in the right direction. We need to go in the direction of a commercial break. We'll take a quick time out, come back, and talk college basketball. Tigers back in action tonight at Wichita State in a must-win. Yes, we're in the must-win portion of the schedule. But also we'll go around college basketball, and there were some interesting results from last night. If you want to chime in, hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines. You can call in or text in at 901-360-8255. Just underway on a Thursday. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Save on the furniture and mattresses you want during the President's Day sale at the Great American Home Store. Everything's on sale from bedroom to dining room recliners, sectional sofas, and those comfy sleep sets. Top American-made brands including Southern Motion, Corinthian, England, Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, Restonic, and more. American-made sofas as low as $6.99. Kick back and relax in a new recliner, rocker recliners, gliders, and lift chairs. Shop our huge selection of casual to formal dining sets. And nobody offers a better selection of sofas, sectionals, reclining sofas. Saving store-wide off our already low prices. If you choose to pay cash, the more you buy, the more you save. Or take advantage of special financing up to 5 years with no minimum purchase and no money down. Come in today to one of Great American's huge showrooms in Memphis and South Haven. Or shop and buy online at GoGAHS.com. The President's Day sale now at the Great American Home Store.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like discovering a refund tree has grown in your backyard.
I'm the refund tree.
Sawing off its branches.
Hey!
Feeding them through a wood chipper.
My branches! My beautiful branches!
And dancing in its refund rain. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops and go farther and faster with the new G430 woods and irons from Ping. The Ping G430 woods introduce the next generation of speed with new face technology for longer and more accurate shots. The new Ping G430 irons are designed with pure flex technology for faster ball speed and more distance. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit on the new Ping G430 woods and irons today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Don't miss Power Torque Tools DIY days now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Power Torque hand tools come with a lifetime guarantee. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It may be cold, but the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event will heat you up. Discover a new way to ride in your 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage and get 39 MPG combined for $17,520 or $289 a month and 0 down. And check out 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport for $29 a month, 29 MPG Highway, or get 2.9 for 36 months. Want peace of mind? We Gossett with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage, $289 per month. 2023 Outlander Sport, $429 per month. You won't go wrong ever when you shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Garage PHW 2846, MSRP 18020, Sport PU 2230, MSRP 29545, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Working a couple accidents this morning. Austin P Highway, at Coleman. That's Austin P Highway at Coleman. Accident there. I-55 south at Shelby Drive. The left and right shoulders are blocked there. Accident on Sycamore View, just north of Shelby Oaks Drive. And then all the way on Highway 78 down in DeSoto County. I-22 west at Casey Road, working that accident as well. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It was a beautiful day. Sun beat down.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:30. Not a beautiful day, but at least the rain that we had yesterday, not expected today, although there's still a chance, about a 15% chance of rain. Partly cloudy this morning, and then it'll be partly cloudy throughout the afternoon with the temperature rising to about 73 degrees. Currently, it is 65, but there is rain in the forecast for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. May not be all-day things, but certainly keep an eye on the weather as you get ready for your plans for the weekend. If they include outdoor plans, again, you better check. And that includes Memphis playing a 4-game baseball series with Youngstown State starting tomorrow. And those games could be moved around time-wise depending on the rain. The great news is, though, with the new turf field, great chance to get games in unless you're having, obviously, thunderstorms and there's all kinds of lightning, and then they won't be playing. But with rain, if it's not too heavy, the drainage is absolutely terrific because it just soaks right into the turf. And hopefully they'll be playing baseball this weekend. Tigers will be playing basketball tonight as the men are in Wichita to take on Wichita State. Got to be honest with you, I have not heard any more news on Kendrick Davis. I mean, my assumption early in the week was they did the smart thing. They didn't play him at Houston. Gave him more days to get ready. I'm not sure. I know this was the worst of the ankle injuries he had this year. He's had a number. It's been the same ankle, basically. They're in must-win mode. The Tigers have to win tonight against Wichita State. If they lose this game, I think Wichita State's about a 120 net, somewhere in that neighborhood, Eli?
Yeah, somewhere in that range, yeah.
And again, it's a road game. I understand that, but this is not a great basketball team. Then you have to come back Sunday and beat Cincinnati at home, go to SMU on the road next week and win that one, and then it sets up for the Houston game a week from Sunday at home, final game of the regular season. But it's a must-win. It really is. Now, if you beat Houston at home and then beat them in the tournament, of course, obviously you got the AQ, you're in. But I guess technically you can survive possibly with a win against Houston. But you don't want to be in that position. I can tell you this. If they lose tonight, the latest bracketology on Friday, they'll be out. I can't see where they would still be in anybody's bracketology, from Joe Lunardi to Jerry Palm to anybody else who does one. And so, again, Davis, not sure. DeAndre Williams will be a key. He will be key to stay on the floor as well, as he was able to do a good job getting away from all those foul issues earlier in the season, but then it reared its ugly head against Houston, and he fouled out of that game. But it's not easy to go into the Koch Center. It's a tough place to play, although Wichita State, I believe, is 500 at home this year. A lot of close games. They had some close shaves with Houston and some other teams towards the top of the conference, but this is a must for Memphis.
Wichita State is 125 in the net this morning. This will be a quad 2 game for Memphis. They could, with that number, if depending on Wichita State does the rest of the way, could end up being could fall to a quad 3 game. But yeah, I mean, this is a team that you should beat, and you need to beat. I would assume with Kendrick Davis, they may not know at this point, whether he's going to be able to go. It might simply be a situation where he gets out there in shoot around or even up to before the game and tries it and sees how it feels, and if he's good to go, he's good to go. If not, then they have to sit him and wait till the next one.
Lomax returned last game in Houston. As Penny said on Monday during his radio show, I probably played him 15 more minutes than I should have. He's not 100%, but if they don't have KD, they have to have Lomax only for the fact that he can dribble. He can run the offense. But Williams is going to be key. Some of those supplementary players are going to have to be big as well. This one is huge. What happened in the American Conference last night? Cincinnati survived Temple at home in overtime, 88-83, as Cincinnati will be the Tigers' opponent on Sunday here in Memphis. UCF lost at home to USF. USF swept them during the regular season. 2 wins and 2 surprises. I guess at home you can understand in a rivalry a little bit more, but going into Orlando and winning by 7. And then Tulane and Houston, in Houston, 89-59. A 30-point rout by the Cougars. The Tigers, for whatever the reason is, bad matchups, have lost twice to Tulane. Memphis, without KD, goes into Houston, loses by 8. Tulane last night gets routed by 30.
Yeah, that's a really impressive defensive performance by Houston. That Tulane can score, and to hold them to 59 points is pretty darn impressive. And that's Houston has that capability, and they get after you defensively. And that was that's an impressive win for Houston.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game, so I'm not sure how they defended. Obviously, they defended well, but did they guard that perimeter? Was Tulane having problems with three-point shooting? Were they able to get open looks? Against Memphis, they were able to get open looks both times they played them, especially the first time in New Orleans. So Houston, an easy winner over Tulane by 30. In the SEC last night, all eyes were on Brandon Miller and the University of Alabama as they went to South Carolina to play a very bad Gamecocks team. And for whatever reason, maybe their minds weren't completely on the game. They struggled, and it looked like South Carolina was going to win. But who was the hero for Alabama to pull out the win? The number 2 team in the nation survived 78-76 in overtime. It was the aforementioned Brandon Miller, who had a career game. 41 points, did everything. He had the game-tying bucket at the end of regulation. He had the game-winning shot at the end of overtime. Now, earlier in the day, it was Greg Byrne, the AD, who said, based on all of the facts we have gathered, Brandon remains an active member of the team and obviously played last night. A lot of folks have an opinion, and a lot of people have expressed the opinion, whether it be just Joe Q Public or people on national television. And I think pretty much to the person, they feel that Alabama hasn't gone far enough. They haven't done anything that merits any kind of, I don't know, discipline. Some discipline. There has been absolutely no discipline, and of course there's going to be no charges against Brandon Miller. His attorney came out yesterday, had some interesting things to say, which seemed like it was just a series of coincidences for Brandon Miller to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But Alabama is sticking to their guns, Eli. They played him. He played tremendously well, and they survived.
No pun intended.
Pun intended.
Yeah, he was all. I mean, again, he's awesome as a player. The statement from the attorney, again, this is his side, and said yesterday the police testimony. This is just the police's version of events. It has not been proven one way or another. This is their version of what they believe happened. All of that stuff. My thing is still this though. They talk about the fact that the gun was already in the back seat of the car. He didn't know it was back there, covered up by clothing. He was already on his way to pick up Miles when the text message came to him. All of these things. Now, the part about whether he blocked the Jeep in, and if what the lawyer says is true, like there's video that shows that he was parked there before the Jeep was parked there. Well, that's obvious. Like that, you could look at a video and determine that one way or another, whether he was there first or the Jeep was there, whatever. So, okay. All I know is this. If one of my friends is at a bar and I'm going to pick them up, and they then text me at some point in me going to pick them up, bring me my gun or whatever. I guess the thing he said was, I need my joint or whatever slang term they were. But we know he's asking, bring me a gun. Bring me my gun. I've got some questions for that person before I just show up. Like, I want to know what I'm walking or driving into. Like, I'm going to be like, get him on the phone. Like, dude, what do you need a gun for? Like, what is happening right now? Like, I'm not just going, oh, he needs his gun. Well, I'm just going to keep going and we'll see what happens when I get there. I don't know if I have his gun or not. I don't know where his gun is. Like, I want to know what his response to that text was. Like, that's not just something you go, oh, yeah, he needs a gun. Well, good thing I'm on my way to get him. I just don't. I've got some serious questions with one of my friends telling me, bring me my gun. And when the lawyer says he did not know any illegal activity was going to happen with the gun, what legal activity could have happened with the gun? What if a guy asks you to bring your gun at 1:30 in the morning after he's been to the bar? You're not going to the shooting range. You're not just going to go practice shooting at the shooting range. Mm-hmm. What legal activity could have happened with the gun? I just don't. Like, the idea of you get that text message and that doesn't mean anything to you. Like, I've got some serious questions when somebody if I've never had that situation.
Was there a report of zombies that night in Tuscaloosa? I think there may have been.
Like, it's so, again, like the idea, that's one thing. I would love to see the text message transcript and see what his response to that was, or if there was even a response to the text that says, bring me my gun.
I'm sure they've looked at that. I'm sure they've looked at everything. Look, something needed to be done and needs to be done with Miller. I just don't buy that he's clean out of all of this. I'm not saying that he should be charged with murder. I'm just saying that from a discipline standpoint, the school, it's ridiculous. Nate Oates, it's bad enough, but the school not doing anything. And then as far as the criminal aspects of things, laws are different in every state, every jurisdiction. But to me, if that's not an accessory to the crime, I don't know what is. I don't know. I don't get it. And then he goes out there and unscathed puts up 41 and a bunch of rebounds and assists and all that great stuff. He's going to be a top 5 pick, and we're going to talk to Matt Babcock at 9:25 to see if this will have any effect on Brandon Miller and how high he thinks he'll go in the draft.
Again, I don't know what version of events is true. If what the lawyer said, if the gun was just in the backseat of his car and he did not know it, that I don't see he would not be to me in any accessory. If he's just going to pick up the guy, doesn't realize the gun's back there, the guy grabs the gun and starts shooting people. No, I don't think that would be something criminal. Again, and I don't know anything about that as far as the law goes or what makes you accessory, all that. Again, the district attorney says there's nothing they can charge him with. So I'm going to believe the district attorney or the assistant district attorney it was who made that statement. I don't know. But it's, again, at the very least, it was very, very poor decision-making. And for a basketball team to have 3 guys that were there when somebody was murdered, that's obviously one of them is off the team and facing the charges, but the other 2 guys who were there when this happened to have just nothing whatsoever is a little weird. It's just a little weird.
Yeah, whatever you believe and whatever you think happened, the bottom line is this: that gun didn't have to be in that car in that vicinity of where those guys were, because if there wasn't one, then perhaps this never happens.
Hell, if somebody, if somebody texts me and says, bring me my gun, if he doesn't know the gun is in his car, was the response, hey, where is your gun? How am I supposed to bring it to you? I don't know where it is. That's the thing. There's the response to that text is what I really like to know what was said or done at that point. Because again, if you just oh, look at that, he needs his gun. Okay, well, I'm on my way to get him. This will be fun.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think this story's going away anytime soon. It's been, I don't even want to say polarizing. I think most of the responses have been, how do you not discipline this guy? Some looking for extremes like kicking him off the team. I wouldn't go that far. And obviously some feeling that there should be a criminal charge against them, but apparently that's not the case with the district attorney, as you mentioned, in Tuscaloosa, but I don't think it's going away anytime soon. Real quick, last night, elsewhere in the SEC, Florida and Kentucky. Kentucky winning in Gainesville 82-74. Oscar Tshiebwe, big game. And now all of a sudden, Kentucky's starting to click.
Yeah, they've put together some wins here. Nice win. That Tshiebwe was able to dominate with Castleton out for Florida. Right. It's tough for them, and Tshiebwe goes 12 of 13 from the field. And yeah, he's really, really good.
LSU beat Vanderbilt 84-77.
Congratulations to LSU. They have finally matched their football team for wins in the calendar year 2023.
What type of losing streak were they on?
14.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't know it was that bad. I knew it was bad.
This was the first win in 2023 for the basketball team. The football team had them beat until last night. Now they are tied with the football team for wins in the calendar year 2023.
North Carolina had the win. They won at Notre Dame, come back in the second half, 63-59, so they're not done just yet. And then, of course, what would be a night in college basketball without a top 10 team losing? Virginia gets beat by Boston College, 63-48. Not only do they get beat by 15. That's another team. We talk about Tennessee sometimes with the offense. Virginia's even in a worse situation. They have to win with defense. They can't win with offense. That's not Tony Bennett's style. And they lose by 15, the 6th-ranked team in the nation, to Boston College. All right, when we come back, Kyle Storms will join us, talk a little bit about the Big Green Egg. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the Commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice, and you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown Commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. Or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the Commissary.
Hey everybody, I'm out here in Olive Branch at All Star Chevrolet, and let me tell you, this is the week. Come find your new Chevy Silverado or Equinox and get financing as low as 2.99%. Ask Kevin or Jeff about the incentive that will get you $750 off your purchase price of any new Chevy, just for owning a 2009 or newer non-GM car or truck. You don't have to trade it, just own it. Plus a lot of customer cash back. All that can add up to as much as $3,250 right now. If you're a first responder, military, educator, or healthcare worker, you get another $500. And Kevin and Jeff want to thank all of you who are bringing your cars, your trucks, your SUVs out here to Olive Branch and selling them to All Star Chevrolet. It's the easiest place to get a check today for some crazy good money, even if you owe money on it. Call and ask for Sean or Jeff. Remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Bartlett, not Mount Moriah or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. So find new roads to All Star Chevy in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
I know you're thinking about pools and patios right now. Don't deny it. They're on your mind. So it's a good thing that Family Leisure is having their preseason patio and pool sale. It's like they're mind readers. You can buy now and save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture. You want free layaway? Done. You want special financing? Done. You want to be ready to enjoy your backyard just as soon as spring hits? Family Leisure has you covered. Patio and pool season's not that far away. So now's the time to take advantage of this fantastic early bird pricing special. Now here comes the really special part. If you mention this commercial, you get half off delivery and installation. I'll let that sink in for a second. You heard me right, my friends. You mentioned this very commercial, and Family Leisure will give you half off delivery and installation. The preseason patio and pool sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Witten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hiring is hard. Luckily, there's Indeed. The hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates from the same place. Just sponsor a job, and you'll immediately get a short list of quality candidates on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit to get started.
Both 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte LXS, PE 581,756, MSRP 21,985, Sorrento PG 183,422, MSRP 23,405. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Jeff, my man, what's going on over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah? Look, I know you got something up your sleeve to blow me away.
You bet I do, Randy. Gas prices are high, but we've got you covered with 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS at $278 a month, $27.99 due at signing, and a 7-passenger SUV ready to ride in a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $378 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if I don't see exactly what I want,
I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:50 the time on this Thursday morning. 67 degrees, partly cloudy. It will stay that way throughout the day. A little chance of rain this morning, but not a big chance today. Tomorrow, the rain expected back in the area and through the weekend. The high today of 73 degrees.
This side of the program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg, and I talk to you and rave about the Big Green Egg all the time, but a guy that knows a lot more about the Big Green Egg than I do. I'm just a simple man out there using it and making delicious food on it. Kyle Storms knows all about the Big Green Egg. He's from Big Green Egg. What's up, Kyle? How are you?
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Eli and Greg, thanks for having me on.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, as I say, I talk about it all the time. It has changed my life. It's one of the great purchases I've made in recent times. Getting the Big Green Egg. It's just I'm always captivated when I try new things on it. Like it continues to amaze. But it's just the technology, these ceramic grills that last forever, their ability to hold temperature. It's just amazing stuff.
Yeah, your experience is the average customer experience with Big Green Egg. You know, people tell us all the time how it's changed their life. They love it. You know, they'll pass by someone in a store who's thinking about buying a Big Green Egg, and they'll just say, hey, do it, man. That's one of the best things I've ever bought. So, yeah, we love that kind of customer feedback. Our customers are our biggest advocate for the brand.
One of the things, and I always say it, if you've ever asked yourself the question, is it worth it? The answer is yes.
Definitely. I've had my egg for about going on 15 years, and it is hands down one of the best things I've ever bought as well.
And the other thing, too, and I was talking about the accessories, as you guys call them, I mean, it's so versatile. You can do so many different things on it.
Yes, you can smoke, bake, roast, sear, grill, use it as a brick oven. You can do cookies, cakes, cobblers, pies, pizzas. I mean, you name it. You can bring me any kind of food and tell me to cook it any kind of way, and you can do it on an egg.
I haven't got into the cakes and cookies yet. I am not brave enough to. I am not brave enough to even try that one.
Yeah, I usually leave that up to people at egg fests and events that I go to. But I tell you, I've had some of the best pies and desserts. I mean, bacon wrapped Oreos off the egg.
Oh,
I mean,
geez.
you name it. I've had some of the most amazing desserts off of the egg. But yeah, I typically leave that to the others as well. But people knock it out of the park.
Sounds like state fair treats that you're describing there. Now, Kyle, the Big Green Egg, does it come in different sizes for the folks that are listening out there?
Yes, we have 7 different sizes: 2XL, XL, large, medium, small, mini max, and mini. The large and extra large are our 2 most popular sellers. If you're cooking for 4 to 6 people, large is probably your size. If you're cooking for 7 or more, then you definitely want to go up to an extra large or maybe even larger.
And the other great thing, too, not only the grill but and the accessories, but you guys have your own spices and rubs and sauces and all of those things.
We have 6 different seasonings, 6 different sauces. We're actually, I heard we're working on developing 2 more seasonings and 2 more sauces coming soon. I got to taste those. Those are amazing. And we also now have 3 different kinds of charcoal to offer, too. Big Green Egg's been around for 49 years, going on 50. And for the first 46, we've only had 1 kind of charcoal, our natural oak and hickory. And people love it. That's really where half of our flavor comes from. But we've noticed in the market that people are more willing to try South American hardwoods and Canadians and everything like that. So we wanted to offer that to our customers too. So we have a natural hardwood, which is a Brazilian. Basically, it's all eucalyptus, and it's the same kind of charcoal that you would they would use in a Brazilian steakhouse.
Oh, okay.
And then we have our new Canadian maple, which is 100% maple. And I tell you what, that maple performs so well. It gets so hot so fast. I was cooking fillets on my Mini Max on Valentine's Day. Lit a fire starter. From the time I lit the fire starter to the time that Mini Max is at 500 degrees, I timed it. It was 6 minutes. That's it.
Wow. Eli, would you buy anything Canadian, though?
Oh, yeah. If it's going to help my food taste better, if it's going to help my food taste better, and I can get it that hot for sure, that's absolutely 100%.
It sounds good. Look, Kyle, I think the one thing that's a downer for anybody that grills, whether it's the Big Green Egg or any type of grill, is cleaning. What's it like with a Big Green Egg?
So it's very simple. There's no grease trays or drip pans. When you're ready to cook the next day, all you do is you take your ash tool and you stir up the charcoal that knocks the dead ash off. We also have fire bowls where if you have a fire bowl inside, all you have to pull up is the fire bowl, shake the ash out, put the charcoal back in, add charcoal, and you're good. About once every 4 to 7 cooks in the bottom of your egg, you'll accumulate enough ash to actually clean it out. And you can just scrape that out with the ash tool, or as long as your egg is unlit and it's just dead ash down there, you can chop back the ash out of the bottom.
Yeah, it's so easy. I have one of the bowl things. Yeah, it's so easy just to shake that thing, be done, and ready to go again. Where can folks find Big Green Eggs here in Memphis?
People can find Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace, Germantown Hardware, Cordova Ace, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, Garden Spas and Pool.
It's great. And, of course, the website, biggreenegg.com, for all the information as well on all of the different things that they have at Big Green Egg. Kyle, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And I keep on cooking on mine, and I keep on loving it.
Thank you, Kyle.
Eli and Greg, thanks for having me. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
All right, good stuff. Kyle Storms. If you need more information, again, the website is pretty simple.
Biggreenegg.com.
Biggreenegg.com. All right, that'll do it for hour number 1. When we come back, hour number 2, as I mentioned, Marvin Stockwell from the Coliseum Coalition, I guess the other side of things. We will debate with him about the future of the Coliseum. Later on in the show, Matt Babcock will join us from the NBA and his Matt Babcock site, which is terrific as a podcast and all kinds of analysis on NBA draft hopefuls. We'll talk to Matt about that. In between, more on the Tigers, more on the Grizzlies, and we'll take your calls and texts at that time as well. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Save on the furniture and mattresses you want during the President's Day sale at the Great American Home Store. Everything's on sale from bedroom to dining room recliners, sectional sofas, and those comfy sleep sets. Top American-made brands including Southern Motion, Corinthian, England, Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, Restonic, and more. American-made sofas as low as $6.99. Kick back and relax in a new recliner, rocker recliners, gliders, and lift chairs. Shop our huge selection of casual to formal dining sets. And nobody offers a better selection of sofas, sectionals, reclining sofas. Saving store-wide off our already low prices. If you choose to pay cash, the more you buy, the more you save. Or take advantage of special financing up to 5 years with no minimum purchase and no money down. Come in today to one of Great American's huge showrooms in Memphis and South Haven. Or shop and buy online at GoGAHS.com. The President's Day sale now at the Great American Home Store.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior, complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. You've known the name for 30 years. You might even remember him from nearly 20 years on Kix 106 as half of the Young and Elder Show. Now, 13 years later, Brian Elder is the largest purchaser of Owens Corning shingles in Memphis. Call him right now, 867-0303. Certified and trained by Owens Corning to earn a reputation for quality and expertise matched by no one. Don't let them tell you it has to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. Call right now, 867-0303. He'll climb every inch of your roof. He'll go into your attic and run a moisture and ventilation test using state-of-the-art equipment to make certain you're protected from mold and other contaminants. You may be causing respiratory problems for your family and not even know it. We're waiting for your call, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
With winter arriving, we start to think about spirit, and I've got the spirit I think about. It's from Old Dominick. You know Old Dominick? That is our hometown distillery, right in the heart of downtown. Old Dominick, by the way, gives full distillery tours with curated tastings. There's craft cocktails. It is really a neat place to go. So when you're looking for something to do downtown, something a little different, I suggest you go see my friends at Old Dominick. The other aspect about Old Dominick is the product itself. What a great spirit that they have just finally released. So they have this master distiller. Her name is Alex Castle. She won't let anything be released until it's perfect. We've been waiting a long time for two whiskeys. One's a sipping, the other is bottle in bond. They are incredible. It took a long time, but Old Dominick has finally released those two whiskeys. You will love the spirit at Old Dominick.
Bobby J is waiting to get your call today and put you in a new Kia from Gossett Kia Covington Pike. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway for just $278 a month in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $27.99 due at signing. Or rule the road in luxury with 2023 Kia K5 LXS, $337 a month, $31.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease. And if we don't have what you're looking for, not a problem. Bobby J will order you a new ride today. You won't pay over MSRP. And keep cruising in confidence with Kia's best-in-class warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Quote $30,000 per year, $650 acquisition fee. Forte LXS PE 581,756, MSRP 21,985. K5 PG 201,565, MSRP 26,805. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Sports 56 traffic.
Still working a handful of accidents here. Accident on Sycamore View at Shelby Oaks Drive. Still working with that. Also, Austin P. Highway at Coleman. A couple of new accidents on the road, or accident and road construction on the roadways. Sam Cooper between I-40 and I-240 and the Mendenhall overpass, they are working on the roads there. So if you got to get through, just use another direction or give yourself some time there. And then accident on Dunn at Airways. That's Dunn at Airways. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:04 the time. Hour number 2 here on the program. The Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 edition of Sports 56 Mornings. You got Greg Gaston. You got Eli Savoy. You got Zach Boyd. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Their preseason patio and pool sale continues. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 68 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Little chance of rain this morning after a lot yesterday. It will get up to about 73 and stay partly cloudy throughout the day and then rain in the forecast, unfortunately, for the entire weekend. Second hour of the program is brought to you by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your family's jeweler. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. They are your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. So if you're planning on popping the question, gentlemen, later on this year, this spring, this summer, you're looking for that special engagement ring, make sure you head over to James Gaddis Jewelers. They've been selling engagement rings to Memphians for a long time. They've been in that same East Memphis location for over a quarter century. And then if you couple that where they began on Summer Avenue, you're talking about 4 decades of fine service here in the Memphis area. They are part of the fabric of this community. Maybe you're looking for a beautiful watch. They have all types of different watches, including Rolex watches, custom-made jewelry, gemstones of all types, bracelets, necklaces, earrings, so much more. It's James Gaddis Jewelers, second hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. All right, so the other day I get an email from a gentleman. His name is Marvin Stockwell, and he's the co-founder of the Coliseum Coalition. And we've talked an awful lot on the show about the Coliseum. There's been a number of stories, possibilities of being the situation being rectified with maybe a business coming in. I remember Wiseacre for a while. They talked about the big beer place going there, the Wiseacre Brewery, little brewery there, and other things over the years, and nothing's come to fruition. And now, of course, the talk is knocking it down and building a stadium for 901 FC and possibly incorporating a part of the structure of the Coliseum. Well, Mayor Strickland was on the other day with Dave Woloshin and had some things to say about that, and I got an email from Marvin. So I invited Marvin to come on the show to talk about why he is in support of keeping the structure, and even though he's a pro 901 FC guy, he has other thoughts of where they could build the stadium. But we want to find out from the horse's mouth. We just lost him. So we'll get him on in just a second. But we're going to have the other side of this polarizing, to a certain extent, topic. I don't think there's a ton of people that support keeping the arena, keeping this old venue, but there are some, including the people that are part of the Coliseum Coalition. So without further ado, I think we have Marvin up. We good?
We're getting him in just a second.
All right, beautiful. All right, so without further ado, he is Marvin Stockwell, again, the co-founder of the Coliseum Coalition. Marvin, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks, guys, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Not sure how much you heard of my intro there. I know we lost you for a second. Okay.
Yeah, I actually just heard me right as you were just about to bring me on. I couldn't believe my bad luck. It's like, oh, man, call drop. It happens.
Okay, so let me say this first of all. I know over the years we've heard these reports of, maybe this company will come in there. I mentioned the brewery. And I said to myself, listen, if they could do something like that, I'm all for it. But they failed. Every time it fell through, and now you have the possibility of this stadium being erected there on that site, where everything else is new there, even the renovations that are coming to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, obviously a lot of new facilities with Liberty Park. Why do you and the other folks of this coalition are so adamant about keeping this structure?
Sure. Well, it's a useful building in good shape. 2 separate assessments have shown that conclusively, including the city's own due diligence around the pursuit of the tourism development zone in 2018, which the Strickland administration was successfully able to get to happen. And that's to his administration's credit. The project wouldn't be happening at all had he not said, give me a plan to go get the TDZ funding. So hats off to the mayor on that. We are the grassroots group, the Coliseum Coalition, that's been kind of working actually pre-Strickland administration to first save, and we kind of won a stay of execution with Robert Lipscomb and all the stuff back in the day. But I think we've reached an inflection point where people are exasperated. I think that's the common denominator between people who love the Coliseum and people who may still love the Coliseum but are saying, on balance, it's time to move on. And I've talked to a lot of those people, and I think that the common denominator is exasperation with the pace of change. So it's a reasonable question to say, after this many years, if a good idea would have come forward, why hasn't it come forward? And what I've learned is we really just haven't had a good faith partner in the city. I really just don't think good ideas have not been allowed to come forward. So, for instance, you mentioned the Wiseacre thing. That idea went to the city years before that, and didn't go anywhere. So, I'll give you another example that illustrates what I mean. A few years ago, a group from out of town reached out to us because they couldn't get a call back from the city. And they said, hey, we saw that you're giving these VIP tours for potential investors, and we think you guys are an untapped minor league hockey market. And we're like, we'd love to give you the tour. We've given north of 130 of these VIP tours over the years. So they flew in. They took our tour, and they said, gosh, this is perfect, man. Memphis is great. With the success of the Nashville Predators, it's really great, and you could get more revenue through teaching kids how to skate on ice and stuff. So we're like, great, full head of steam. Well, then they met with the city. Well, next morning we caught up with them before they caught their flight out, and they were all dejected. And we said, what happened? What's wrong? And they go, well, your city told us that they're not willing to talk with us about the Coliseum because it's in the next phase of development. And I just think that is, and so all of the other instances, I don't know how many other earnest interest from outside parties went to the city and then died, and because the city's process has not been transparent. So my point is, we have a couple of we have evidence that we have interested parties that could bring interested investors to the table, and the city just wasn't ready to listen or willing to listen. And I think we just have to look at that and say, the mayor says we tried hard to find an investor. That to me does not sound like trying hard.
Are those, when you're talking about those, whether it be the hockey or whatever, is that people wanting to buy the Coliseum basically and do all the renovations themselves, or are they wanting the city to still renovate it and operate it?
That's a great question. I don't know that answer. The point here is that they didn't have an open ear at the city. So it's hard to look at this and think to myself, oh, okay, well, I feel like I've been the gullible guy that believed earnestly that we were truly at the table with the city, whereas I'm just not sure that we ever were, and we were maybe in a limited fashion, but it's disappointing. I feel like there are alternate sites for the soccer stadium. We're circulating a map on social media, and it's really catching on. Here's a question to consider, because reasons to say that we can sit here and talk about history. We all know those stories. I'm not going to fill up your airtime with that. But why would we choose a build site that cost $10 million more in demolition costs than open land elsewhere in the city? And you might say, how do you know that $10 million? So the cities did their due diligence in the pursuit of the TDZ. They had Allen and Hochul do an assessment. First of all, the assessment Allen and Hochel's assessment, the city's assessment, corroborated our view that this building is in excellent shape. But they did one thing that was helpful. They raised the amount to demolish to between $8 and $10 million. With inflation, that's probably more like 10 to 15, but conservatively, let's say it's $10 million. Why would we choose a build site when there's a $10 million additional charge even before you build anything? A lot of people on social media say, give it up already, just tear it down. But I mean, they act like it's deleting a file off a computer. Now, that's a $10 to $15 million deletion. So it's like, and we found and have put on this map 5 different locations on or around Liberty Park where it could be situated. And that begs the question, if we could find that many places on or near Liberty Park quickly, what other places around town would be a good place? And people are taking to social media, say, here's this place in Fraser, here's this place in Binghamton, here's this place downtown. And I know we have to be, we can debate where it ought to go, what areas of the city need investment. But I'm just saying, like, there are other open plots of land which wouldn't require demolition. So, like, why do we want a $10 million additional charge?
Well,
when there are other locations?
it's a good point, but here's the deal. You have a Liberty Park that is adding new structures, new buildings. They are sprucing up that area. What is the point of having an old Coliseum that's unoccupied just sitting there taking up space? That would be the argument. I mean, again, you could talk about this company wanted to do this company wanted to do that, red tape within the city. That's why they weren't. All I know is that thing has been dormant for a long time, and it's an eyesore.
Right. No, you're right. Here's the thing. The city all along has told us, hey, look, there's no money for the Coliseum. If you're going to get it reopened, you got to go find third-party investment. And so that's why we partnered on these 130 VIP tours. So, but now the city is solving the thing by means that they told us they couldn't. You see, because they're using city money when they told us all along, no city money. So, I mean, imagine if they took that same approach and that same vigorous effort and that pursuit of funding and had gotten behind and said, actually, Governor Lee, we'd like $52 million to renovate the Mid-South Coliseum. Their own estimate was $40 million. Now, that's adjusted up a little bit with inflation, but it's not $52 million, or it's probably on or about. With the same effort, they could have renovated the Mid-South Coliseum, and Mayor Strickland could be floating into the Hall of Mayors with a major accomplishment on his resume. But he's kept us at arm's length for 8 years now, and that's regrettable. I mean, he's never met with us once. And I understand, mayors are busy and they got their staff. But I mean, if you wanted to work something out, if you, quote, tried hard, if we tried hard, wouldn't you meet with the passionate advocates for the building that have worked on for free, raised it? We've done our own crowdfunding efforts to get the murals up. We've spent our own money in a grassroots effort and volunteered our time. Don't you think you would have met with us once?
Yeah, I would think so.
Why? I guess the question I have is then, why are you so passionate about the building?
Right.
Like, what's it matter if it gets knocked down to you?
Sure. Well, I have a host of reasons. First of all, it's a useful building, so why would we destroy a civic-owned city asset? Second of all, I think amongst all the different historical provenances, I think civil rights is the most important, given that this is Memphis. So it was the first public assembly building conceived and built with racial integration from moment one in 1964. We think that's important in a city where Dr. King was assassinated speaking up for black sanitation workers. It was also the site in 1991 where black Memphians came together to nominate their consensus candidate, Willie Harrington, who went on to become the city's first black mayor. Again, we think that's important in a majority black city. Of course, then there's the music, wrestling, basketball provenance. Lawler wrestled Kaufman there. The 73 Tigers and Larry Finch, which is coming up on their 50th anniversary. The Beatles played there. Elvis played there. Sinatra played there. Jay-Z played there. All these, Led Zeppelin played there. Everybody and their brother that was of that era played there that you would have wanted to have seen if you could roll back, if you had a time machine. The WDIA Soul Reviews. Stax artist plays there. The connection to Stax. During these tours, we have tour buses of European tourists show up to take their picture with the building. the Beatles press conference. You don't think we could do something? So when John Lennon said the Beatles are more popular than Jesus, they held their press conference when there was a big stir up at the Coliseum. It's like, you don't think tourism could do something with that? I just think tourism is the historical backcloth is the icing on the cake for us. We early on in our movement, we kind of got tarred and feathered by saying, "Oh, well, we have our memories too, but you can't save a building just for memories." That is absolutely right? But the memories are not. The memories and the historical provenance and backcloth are not unimportant. So if you wed that to a building in good shape, that two separate assessments, so it's bona fide. Like any talk that's it's a dilapidated building that's falling down. There's been some vandalism, but structurally it's sound. It doesn't hold water, and the desire to have it at the Coliseum site when there are other sites around, which they don't have the money for yet, by the way, and they're trying to find it, but I'm afraid where they're going to find it is Memphis taxpayers' pockets.
All right, so
I just don't think it passes the smell test.
Let me ask you this. All right, so around the country there are a lot of historical sites, and not all of them are still standing. They've been knocked down, and then there's an ode to those buildings. There's usually some sort of little memorial monument thing, a little plaque, and things like that. So it's there. Are you opposed to a soccer stadium going there where they use part of the building, whatever they can, kind of maybe even the facade, while also making sure that they are promoting the historical value of that building with plaques and signs and things of that nature? Are you totally against that as well?
If we get there, I'm sure it would be better than nothing, but it would be the weakest of consolation prize. I mean, I think this has been a PR effort from moment one. I think it's a lot of people that we talked to said, well, no, I thought they were going to save a little bit of it. I'm like, make no mistake. It's a tear down. Let's call it what it is. It's a tear down.
No, it is.
If out on the Chick-fil-A on Union, there's that old Presbyterian reading room.
Right.
It's maybe a silly example, but I mean it's similar enough.
Yeah.
But I'm
we've used that
the people
example.
who care about that. It's good that the facade's there. It makes the Chick-fil-A kind of more interesting. But I mean, it's not. It was a tear down. Now there's way more passion about the Coliseum than the Presbyterian reading room. I will grant you.
Sure.
But the whole idea of the history, again, the memories don't go away because the building does.
That's true.
But the idea of tourists, like, again, if it's just sitting there empty, like, I don't think tourists want to come look at it.
Well,
so you would have to put.
That's what I'm saying.
But you'd have to put the
it.
money. But how much money is that going just for a tourist? Again, it might be a useful building, but it still needs a lot of work.
But if
this is true.
And
so
Marvin,
how much?
Can
you recoup that money that it's going to take to get it through just tourists coming to look at it?
Exactly. The point is, if you reopen that, obviously there's a lot of work that you would have to do. I mean, how are you going to make that money by reopening that, running that building, running that facility? And still, with Memphis 901 FC, which you said in your email to me that you are supportive of this soccer team, they have to have a new home. So you would have to but you would have to pay for a new stadium outside of that site. So now you're paying for two different things, the city is, which obviously would come out of taxpayers' money for both of those.
These are good points. Like, in the end analysis, there are some good ideas coming forward that have been kept at arm's length. My friend Christopher Reyes has a immersive experience a la Meow Wolf meets kind of the City Museum in St. Louis, kind of really think outside the box approach. They kept it at arm's length for more than a year. And so, like, that's another good idea. And Chris has a creative team, and Chris has investors. And he's been kept at arm's length because I feel like this is what the mayors wanted to do for a long time. So, like, I'm just saying, the good ideas that could renovate the building have just really not had an audience is my main point. But how might we do it? I mean, there are people who say, hey, turn it into a dedicated esports venue where you could have, kids watching video games and competitions and, approach all those companies. And that's how you get the thing funded. Interesting idea, very back of the napkin, but plausible, right? And then if you had that, you could mix in a mix of events. You'd have to downsize the Coliseum. For sure you would. But Memphis is missing a mid-sized venue. It's the missing venue in our portfolio of venues that I would argue contributes to us becoming a second or third tier concert destination city. And this is Memphis. This is where rock and roll was founded. So that's sad to me personally, and I think that's sad to a lot of Memphians because we get skipped on a lot of tour routing, specifically because we do not have a mid-sized venue. There are more artists on their way up and on their way down in popularity that fit a 5,500 or 6,500 to 7,200 seat footprint than the FedEx Forum at 18,208. FedEx Forum will tell you, oh, we're happy to put up curtains. But as a band guy myself, no band wants to fill a venue where the fans know that it's curtained off. What you want to do is you want to pack a building out so you leave the fans like, oh, man, they sold the place out. However big that venue is, you want to fit in the venue where you packed it out, right? So concerts, wrestling. You know, wrestling, I honestly, I grew up around wrestling and stuff. I kind of watched a bit of it on television, saw it at Channel 5 one time. But my parents would never really let me go to on Monday night. But did you know that wrestling still happens in Memphis or at like 13 to 15 different locations?
Oh, yeah.
Memphis is still one of the strongest wrestling markets in the country. And if we had a venue, a central venue, I'm not saying that wrestling would ever return to what it once was in the glory days. I'm not saying that, but I think it could be among the portfolio of revenue streams. Imagine if the Grizzlies and gosh, we can get into the non-compete if you want, but I mean a lot of people just take it to mean it can never open as a venue before, but. Imagine if the Grizzlies would get on board with the Coliseum and be a good civic partner. And of course, we know they are. A huge Grizzlies fan. But what if they were to say, honestly, I think they could make way more money in Hustle ticket sales if the Hustle played at the Coliseum. And when I broached that subject with them years ago, I mean, they rightly probably said, never going to happen. It's an interesting idea, probably never going to happen. But now that we've reached this kind of civic juncture point, like imagine if they came to the table and said, yes, actually, by the way, the Hustle could be an anchor tenant. I mean, bear in mind, the Coliseum was the birthplace of Hoop City. There's no Hoop City identity if it wasn't founded at the Mid-South Coliseum. Imagine a reopened Mid-South Coliseum with a Larry Finch home court and the Hustle plays there. I mean, where Orange Mound residents, who've said, downtown is that's not our venue. We missed our Coliseum, and literally you could walk to Hustle games from Orange Mound. I live in Humes Heights. My son Cormac and I could walk to Hustle games. So I think that we could make a ton more money because, I'm not going to go to the land. Well, with Kenny Lofton, I probably will find my way to South Haven this year. But I mean, generally speaking, Memphians don't go to Mississippi. They don't, and they don't want to go there. And they lament the fact that their dollars are spent in Mississippi, their sales tax ring up in Mississippi. We're missing so much tax revenue, and we're missing all that dinner and drink revenue that could spill out to Overton Square or Cooper Young or downtown or wherever. So I just think there are a multiplicity of uses. We just have not had the leadership at the city to say, to really bring everyone around the table. We've been kept at arm's length as citizens, and we've earnestly stayed at the table. We've done our work respectfully. We haven't let it devolve into mudslinging. Mm-hmm. I've shaken the mayor's hand at the groundbreaking of Liberty Park. I shook his hand and I said, Mayor Strickland, I have to give you credit because had you not said, give me a plan for the TDZ, none of this would be happening. So I appreciate it. And it was important for him to hear me say that because he might view me as kind of that we're opposed, right? And in the next breath, I said, of course, that building behind you, the Coliseum, we think it could cooperate with youth sports. And he said, Marvin, perhaps in time. Now we're at a different juncture point. But my point is we have conducted our activity with respect. And I maintain that respect. I know it's hard to be. I know that I've had people who work in city government. I've had a lens into that. I know it's difficult. Mm-hmm. But I just don't think that we've had sufficient leadership. We have not had a willing dance partner who's really open-minded.
Look, first of all, I appreciate your passion. Absolutely, you have a passion for this. I think the best point you made was the most recent point you made, that if you go back and think about when the River Kings were there, and I enjoyed going over to the Coliseum when the River Kings were there, when they moved down to South Haven, The crowds went down. Obviously, for people in northern Mississippi, they had a chance to watch, but they weren't going like they were. They were getting 4,000, 4,500 every single game at the Coliseum, and it dwindled down to 1,000, 1,200, whatever the case was.
And now the team's gone entirely.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. I mean, that's a good point. The historical, and you're right about the history of that building. Nobody's denying the history of the building. Sure. I'm having a hard time thinking that if that building's gone, then the history is gone. I don't buy that. I see structures all around this country get knocked down, and then what they do, they build something that's modern, for goodness sakes. And that's what we want: modern amenities and modern buildings. I think you make good points, but even the music venue, there's still a ton of venues around this area. Some that we don't even use, like Mud Island, the amphitheater, for example. Why aren't we using that one? I mean,
can I respond to this?
Yes, absolutely.
Can I respond to that?
Absolutely.
There are 11,000 fewer indoor seats in Memphis than there were in 1991, and at the same time, the Memphis MSA has grown by 250,000 people. So, and that includes the Lander Center. We're talking about the MSA. So it is false that we have plenty of venues. The truth is we have fewer,
but you know what's going to happen.
Indoor seating is the point.
Right. Okay.
It's
Indoor seating. Yeah. Because
yes,
Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, when that is renovated, it's going to be renovated where they can now get back to major concerts like they used to have in the 90s, the U2s of the world.
I remember.
They're going to be able to do
Monsters of Rock. I was there.
They're going to be able to do those type of things. So,
well, that's great. That's great. We're talking about the kind of
indoor.
really, really big concerts, but the mid-sized venue, there are more touring acts that need that mid-sized venue.
Yeah, you get smaller. You get the Orpheum, you get things like that, and of course you go down.
That's only 2,400 seats.
In DeSoto County,
Orpheum's only 2,400.
They have an amphitheater, and I know you don't want to go into northern Mississippi, but they have an amphitheater down there that I've seen many concerts at, which is only a short drive from Memphis. Let me ask you this. Yes, Snowden Grove.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this before we let you go.
Sure.
How much support do you have? How many people think the way you think?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's a wide love for the Coliseum, and to me, that includes people also who have resigned themselves to the soccer stadium. And so I think people are exasperated. I would say, I mean, you said it at the outset. You said, I would have been willing to say, gosh, well, great, right? Because what would be better than restoring an authentic asset, right, that has all this backcloth? So, and Memphis has a recent history of doing that. Crosstown Concourse, the Tennessee Brewery, the 19th Century Club, the Chisca Hotel. So, if anything, in the last 10 to 15 years, we've developed a penchant for adaptive reuse, whereas Nashville has been like, I mean, to knock down the Coliseum would be a really Nashville thing to do. And if we're chasing after Nashville, I'm not anti-modernity. I'm really not, right? So I am for new stuff when it makes sense, but I just feel like we have a unique opportunity to restore the Coliseum and make use of it, right? So in answer to your question about how many people do you think are really with us, I think a legion of people. I will tell you what I've observed on social media is not only enthusiasm around sharing this map about alternate sites, because people are like, yeah, actually, let's have both. Let's have the soccer stadium, let's have the Coliseum. But I'll tell you, a very important voice that's starting to pipe up and find its strength is Orange Mound. Orange Mound leaders are starting to call for meetings with their elected officials because Orange Mound, and we've done not only our process, but I did another ancillary kind of related effort called Friends of the Fairgrounds. It's a year-long stakeholder investment or stakeholder idea process, a charrette, if you will. And our Orange Mound neighbors always showed up early and left late, and they were always there in droves, bigger than any other neighborhood, although Edwin Circle, Humes Heights, Cooper Young, Chickasaw Gardens was all part of that process. But Orange Mound, it would be a slap in the face to a resurgent Orange Mound. There's lots of great stuff going on within the Orange Mound, and I'd say our Orange Mound neighbors are starting to really get the alarm bells are sounding. So having Orange Mound with us in this, and lots of people, lots of people have reached out.
And let's leave it at that, Marvin. It's been an absolute pleasure. ColiseumCoalition.org. ColiseumCoalition.org. You could also follow Marvin on Twitter and I guess direct message him if you got any comments or questions at Marvin Stockwell. Marvin, I want to wish you well. It's been a pleasure having you on the program, and we'll see what happens. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Appreciate it. All right, there you go. That's the other side of the argument from Marvin Stockwell from the Coliseum Coalition. Folks, it's strawberry time at Dinstall's. That's that chocolate-covered strawberry, delightful. You could pick up your favorite treats for watching all the games coming up. The NCAA tournament, March Madness, is right around the corner, whether it be the Cashew Crunch, the Turtlettes, the chocolate-covered pretzels, all the great delectables at Dinstall's. They've been putting smiles on people's faces for over 120 years. 5 convenient locations: Laurelwood, Germantown, Collierville, Pleasant View, and downtown. There's no better chocolates or candy anywhere. It's Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Folks are falling head over heels for these wheels and deals at DeSoto Auto Sales. It's the season of love. They're on a mission to help you meet your match. So if you've fallen out of love with your old ride, or other dealers have left you brokenhearted, get ready to fall head over heels for their wheels and deals. DeSoto Auto Sales has a solution for every situation. Low monthly payments? No problem. Low down payments? You could drive away for just a couple of bucks down. Trade-ins? DeSoto Auto Sales is paying way more than it's worth, and you could even lower your monthly payment in the process. Broken up over past credit mishaps? DeSoto Auto Sales credit approval process is the best matchmaker. DeSoto Auto Sales will hook you up with banks and lenders who want to approve you. It's time to fall in love, Mid-South, because you'll go head over heels for these wheels and deals when you drive off the lot in your new car for less. But hurry, this deal will fade away faster than first love. See all the wheels and deals at DeSotoAutosales.com. That's DeSotoAutosales.com.
Save on the furniture and mattresses you want during the President's Day sale at the Great American Home Store. Everything's on sale, from bedroom to dining room recliners, sectional sofas, and those comfy sleep sets. Top American-made brands including Southern Motion, Corinthian, England, Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, Restonic, and more. American-made sofas as low as $6.99. Kick back and relax in a new recliner, rocker recliners, gliders, and lift chairs. Shop our huge selection of casual to formal dining sets. And nobody offers a better selection of sofas, sectionals, reclining sofas. Saving store-wide off our already low prices. If you choose to pay cash, the more you buy, the more you save. Or take advantage of special financing up to 5 years with no minimum purchase and no money down. Come in today to one of Great American's huge showrooms in Memphis and South Haven. Or shop and buy online at GoGAHS.com. The President's Day sale now at the Great American Home Store.
Corky's Barbecue. Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. We have been helping Memphians with their celebrations for more than 38 years. Whether you're picking up one of our party packs to serve yourself or booking one of our private dining rooms at our Cordova location or our Olive Branch location, Corky's has you covered. We make it easy for you to impress your guests for company parties, sports banquets, or reunions. Corky's has been trusted year after year for all of your party needs. Call today and reserve your private party room before your date is booked.
Flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is now currently hiring all positions. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, please apply today. Choate's is offering huge sign-on bonuses to seasoned technicians, plumbers, installers, and air duct cleaners. At Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, we offer a career, not just a job, by putting you in a paid training program to develop your technical and customer service skills to best serve our customers. Choate's offers top pay in the Mid-South, weekly pay, paid vacation and holidays, company matching retirement account, health, dental, vision, and life insurance, and Christmas, Thanksgiving, and birthday bonuses. If this sounds like an exciting opportunity for you, then we should talk. So call us at 347-8086 or apply online at ChoatesHVAC.com under the careers link. Come, join our family.
It's here, Mid-South, the last call. Special editions honoring the end of an era with Dodge Challenger and Dodge Charger and the last of the legendary Hemi engines that power them. Up to 808 horsepower and heritage colors. P5 Blue, Plum Crazy Purple, and Sublime Green. At Gossett's got them more than anyone in 300 miles. So come by and take a look at these bad boys. Plus, celebrate the President's Day sales event with 2022 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4, $398 a month. Or get 2022 Dodge Charger SXT, $449 a month. Savings everywhere at Gossett, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Fiat. But if you can't find exactly what you want, let Gossett order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett on the Pike or shop online. GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.99 APR. Renegade NPN 96688, MSRP 32880. Charger NN 246,270, MSRP 35,630. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Still working an accident on Sycamore View at Shelby Oaks. And then road construction on Sam Cooper between I-40, I-240, and Middenhall. The right lane is currently blocked, but if you want to avoid that area, you can if you want to. And then new accident on Pine Lake at Great View. That's Pine Lake at Great View. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:40 the time. Coming up at 9:25, Matt Babcock will join us, NBA draft analyst. Been talking Tigers, Grizzlies in hour number 1 of the program. Tigers at Wichita State tonight. Still no word on the availability of Kendrick Davis, who Penny Hardaway said on Monday during his coach's show that he is day-to-day, the old day-to-day. So I would imagine game-time decision for KD that Tigers have to win this game. And the Grizzlies will be at the 76ers tonight. No Steven Adams and also no Luke Kennard, if you missed that news yesterday. Non-COVID illness is what's keeping Luke Kennard off the court.
The old non-COVID illness. We get you every time.
Why do they have to say that?
I don't know. I guess because there's still COVID. Technically, I guess if it is COVID, there's protocol. I don't know for sure. Drew Texan says, the Coliseum is an eyesore, needs to be torn down. It's just taking up space.
Exactly. That's what we've been saying for years now. And again, the longer you go, it's just sitting there. And I understand his passion, but, I mean, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I would have thought that maybe the mayor would have spoken to him a little bit about this, just kind of to get his ideas. I mean, he has some interesting things to say, and he emailed me with some other ideas. But, again, it doesn't make sense to me. It's 2023, for goodness sakes. Well, if you got a chance to have a new soccer stadium, a new building, you take away the eyesore because everything is new, basically, except for Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, which will be renovated in time. Now, they got to get rid of that Pepsi bottling. Is it Coke or Pepsi? Whatever's on the other side.
Coke. It's Coca-Cola.
And that's out of business. Yeah. Not Coke, but that building is not being used.
Yeah.
They got to level that sucker and maybe put parking or do something. But they're going to build a hotel. They're going to build some retail over in Liberty Park. You have the new buildings there. Kroc Center's not that old anyway. I mean, they're doing a lot of things. Why keep old stuff there when you have a lot of the new buildings? The
Tiger Steve says, I love the place more than anyone, but it's time for it to go. Just give me one of the red seats out of there. Somebody else says, you don't hear anything about Orange Mound until a group of non-Mound people need to use it for their gain. He never said anything about what the Mound would get from this old building standing there. Mm-hmm. Tear it down. Here, this is the thing. When you talk about, again, that's why I asked and he didn't know, but like, you know, with you talk about this hockey, whatever, like, I can understand if somebody wants to just buy the building and take it off the city's hands and do whatever they want, renovate and all that stuff. But if their ask is that the city still operate it, I can see where the city's like, no, we don't want to operate this damn thing. We don't want to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
So if their thing is, hey, we'll come in, be a tenant, you guys, we may help you renovate or whatever, but you're still going to be operating it. Then the city could say no, like we don't want to we don't want to be a part of this. So, but if there's people that have wanted to just buy it, which I assume there probably hasn't been, and take care of it and do all make it their building and do whatever they want with it, then and the city hasn't talked to them, well, that would be dumb. But I can't imagine that's the case.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on what they want to build there or what they want to run there, what business it is. But certainly, to try to keep in the whole, I would think, again, the brewery sounded really, really cool because you're going to have a lot of families out there, parents out there watching their kids play now at that new sports venue, which is going to be, which is already open, but a terrific indoor facility. You still have, again, that Kroc Center. If you've never been in that thing, that is delightful. Obviously, you got a football stadium that's going to be renovated. They're going to add all kinds of other things. The brewery sounded really good, but there's going to be retail. There's going to be a hotel. That's all in the game plan. So it would depend on what the business is. But you're right. The city doesn't want anything to do with that thing. Now, if it's a new soccer stadium, that's a whole different ballgame. But as far as bringing a business in, they wouldn't want that business to come in and have to run that business for them. They would want that business to run it themselves. And we've had these little stories. Basically what he was saying was, yeah, there have been some serious overtures into purchasing that building by companies, and basically the city didn't want to listen. That's what he said. And I'm not saying that's not true. He said the city didn't care to listen to those possibilities. All I know is that it's been, several years since the Wiseacre thing came out, and I thought that would be pretty cool.
Because here's the thing, like with the city, if they, like for instance, the whole hockey team thing again, hockey team comes in and says, man, we love this. We'd love to be a part of you. We'd be your anchor tenant, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. You renovate the building. Hockey team comes in. 2 years later, the hockey team's it's not working and they leave. So now you spend all the money to renovate the building. And once again, you got nothing.
No, you're right. The city is not going to put a dime into it as far as that's concerned.
His whole thing about the Hustle, would the Hustle love to have a place to play in Memphis? Yes, they would. Would the Grizzlies like to have a place for the Hustle to play in Memphis? Yes, they would. Would that building be a good place for them to play? Yes. Would they suddenly draw 5,000 people? Hell no.
I think they would draw more people, but I still don't think that's really the arguing point here. The point is it's an old structure. He thinks that the structure is still great, and then you have to obviously clean it and spruce it up and do all that stuff. I don't know if it is or not. He says that it is. But again, the city talking about putting a soccer stadium there, I mean, obviously they're going to have to run that, and that's going to cost money, and that's been in the process since the plan was revealed by the mayor. But he's talking about other spots on the Liberty Park grounds to put that and still keep the Coliseum. And I was saying, no, you don't need that. You don't need just that spaceship sitting there doing nothing. Again, if they took the roof off and wanted to keep the walls around the thing and put a plaque up about the great history that was there and play indoor soccer or play outdoor soccer, that's fine. I mean, do whatever you want as far as that's concerned. But again, the fact that the thing has been just sitting there over the years, I mean, vagrants have gone in the damn thing. They probably used it to sleep in. I mean, homeless people. I would imagine it's just trash infested, but he's taken tours in this thing. I haven't been inside there, so I don't know for sure what it's like. But he thinks the structure is still sound. Again, after all these years, this is a structure that went up.
They have reports that say that. I believe him on that. That's fine. It still needs a lot of money to make it, to be able to do anything.
Make it shine, right?
I mean, you're still gonna. It's not ready to go. I can't move in. It's not move-in ready. There's still a lot of stuff that would have a lot of money that would have to be put into it. Just because the structure is sound doesn't mean there's not a lot of money that has to be put into it. Again, I could see where the city would rather, if they're going to spend the money, and maybe it is a little bit more money, knock the damn thing down and build something new in its place.
Hey, so I know this is not ideal, but if you give me some time, I could win this Powerball, so we can go ahead and figure out what we're going to do with this idea, man.
If you win the Powerball,
me and my group of friends.
If you win the Powerball, talk to Marvin. And
you're going to waste your money on either imploding that building or building something there?
That's still current. I haven't talked to the city leaders just yet.
If I win the Powerball, I might buy it just to knock it down, just to get the satisfaction.
All right. When we come back, we'll take your calls. I know some folks wanted to chime in on the Tigers tonight. Got some NFL news as well. And yesterday we did the 5 best for 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite documentaries, sports documentaries. There's another sports documentary that is on the way. Interesting one. I'll tell you about that when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
I know you're thinking about pools and patios right now. Don't deny it. They're on your mind. So it's a good thing that Family Leisure is having their preseason patio and pool sale. It's like they're mind readers. You can buy now and save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture. You want free layaway? Done. You want special financing? Done. You want to be ready to enjoy your backyard just as soon as spring hits? Family Leisure has you covered. Patio and pool season's not that far away. So now's the time to take advantage of this fantastic early bird pricing special. Now here comes the really special part. If you mention this commercial, you get half off delivery and installation. I'll let that sink in for a second. You heard me right, my friends. You mentioned this very commercial, and Family Leisure will give you half off delivery and installation. The preseason patio and pool sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with the new 2023 Aerojet Woods and Irons from Cobra Golf. The new Aerojet Woods are designed with a unique aerodynamic shape that delivers faster clubhead speeds for longer drives. And the new Aerojet Irons are made with hot face technology, so every strike delivers more distance. Elevate your game by swinging into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit on the new Cobra Woods and Irons today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Looking for a bar with it all? Pimento's Burgers Bar and Grill. Pimento's makes football your fantasy with 17 TVs and $2 draft beers during the game, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you know I love a great happy hour. At Pimento's, $4 house cocktails, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Yes, $4 house cocktails. Try one of their signature drinks like the JJ Spicy Margarita or the Tennessee Sunset. How about a Memphis Mudslide? Or be a kid again with the Adventure River Rum Punch. Hungry? Try a fan favorite, Bacon Pimento Cheeseburger. Or be like me and try them all. The Mushroom Extravaganza, Sweet Heat, and the Dirty, Mean, and Nasty. Need I say more? Well, yes, because there's so much more than just pimento cheese. Sliders, salads, quesadillas, 10 different appetizers. Just don't forget about dessert. 2 great locations, 6450 Poplar Avenue in East Memphis, and in Collierville, 3751 South Houston Levee Road. A bar with it all, Pimento's Burgers Bar and Grill. So much more than pimento cheese.
Both 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte LXS, PE 581,756, MSRP 21,985, Sorrento PG 183,422, MSRP 23,405. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. Jeff, my man, what's going on over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah? Look, I know you got something up your sleeve to blow me away.
You bet I do, Randy. Gas prices are high, but we've got you covered with 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS at $278 a month, $27.99 due at signing, and a 7-passenger SUV ready to ride in a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $378 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if I don't see exactly what I want,
I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. Let me sneak in a call or two. Keith's been holding a long time. Hi, Keith. How are you? Well, that ain't going to work. Keith, bad reception. Sorry, my friend. Tony on the Coliseum. Hi, Tony.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How are you?
You know, this thing about the Coliseum, I think is absolutely ridiculous that the Coliseum is still standing. They have done studies and everything else on this thing. I don't even understand why they're wasting the money to do. I have a second thought on it. You know, Mayor Strickland
Who's wasting
ran on
money?
the city, the county, whoever's doing the study.
Nobody's doing a study, are they?
Yeah, they did something about they was thinking about putting a brewery in there.
Oh, that was 3 years ago. Yeah, but that was years ago. I mean, right now the whole
But what
talk-
I'm saying is it's still taxpayer money that's wasted for a building that have been sitting for more than 2 decades.
So do
That
you
building
think? Do you
should've-
think it's tax money being wasted by spending whatever it's going to cost $1 million to implode it and then to build the soccer stadium?
I think the soccer stadium would be better than some sitting there vacant or blight.
No, I agree with you. I'm
mean,
playing
it's-
devil's advocate, but it's coming out of your pocket too for whatever they do over there on that site.
But at least you'll get a return on it. You're not getting anything. You're getting zero with the Coliseum sitting there.
Exactly.
And so it does not make it doesn't make financial sense. And you had a mayor that ran on getting rid of blight. I mean, one thing about Memphis obviously the definition of Memphis might mean anchor around your ankle, because nothing they do is completed. I mean, you go to downtown right now and you look at where they're supposed to be building this Grand Hyatt. Guess what? The city and the people at Carlisle fell out about $5 million.
Yeah.
It's always a dollar late and you're short on everything that you do, or they got to cut back on this. Man, spend some money and make this city better.
Thank
Make
you,
it
Tony.
better.
Appreciate it. I understand, but I disagree to some extent. I mean, just look at Liberty Park. Look what they're building. Look at that new facility that they have there. Look at the other buildings that are in the game plan to be built. There has been blight that has been restored. I think there's still a lot of blight out there, but I agree with them to a certain extent. But then again, I still think Memphis is making strides. The downtown, look, you used to live downtown. I mean, it's a whole different ballgame, is it not, from what it was 15 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, again, there certainly are strides being made. That has, I mean, again, the Coliseum needs to go. It's something
we're all in
that's
agreement
sitting
with
there
that.
for
Yeah.
20 years empty. Like it needs to go. And the whole it's not like the tax money for the most part that they're going to be using to build the soccer stadium is probably going to be the hotel tax. If they get that approval to keep the hotel tax up,
rental cars,
and rental cars.
Mm-hmm.
It's the bond. They're going to issue bonds that are going to be repaid by those taxes. It's not just like our property taxes or whatever are going to this. It's going to be those types of taxes to repay the bonds that are issued if it works out the way they want it to.
If it works out the way they want it to, you're right, because there's a certain financial. There's a certain price where they've already calculated all of that into it. If it ends up being higher, then they're going to have to find other streams of revenue to pay for that. All right, let's see if we got Keith now hooked up. Keith, you there?
I'm sorry, guys. I lost.
No, we got you now.
All right, yeah, it was a really tough place to play, like when Dana Kerr. You got to move up and man.
All right, forget it, Keith. Sorry,
Keith's
brother.
in a different area.
It ain't gonna work today, my friend. But I think he was talking about the Koch Center, Wichita, tough place to play. No question about it. This is going to be a tough game. Don't think this is going to be some easy game, especially when we don't know the situation with Kendrick Davis for tonight. We did yesterday 5 favorite documentaries, your 5 favorite sports documentaries. Netflix has announced that a new series called Quarterback is coming out. I'm not sure when, but it's a docuseries that followed this past season, the 2022 season, 3 quarterbacks. They were mic'd up all the time. Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and this is interesting, Marcus Mariota. Did he not leave like the Falcons once they released him and started? I don't know if they released him or he just left. Desmond Ridder became the starter. It'll be interesting to hear what he had to say, but all 3 of those quarterbacks throughout the season were mic'd up, and Netflix is doing a series on those guys.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That should be fun. Obviously, it was an interesting year for the Vikings because of all the comeback victories and everything else. And so to Kirk Cousins, that should be interesting. Obviously, the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, so with Mahomes. And then Mariota, kind of the other side of that. A guy gets replaced by the young guy and all of that stuff. So, yeah, that'll be I'm looking forward to that. That should be very interesting.
All right, coming up in hour number 3, we got more NFL news, got some NBA news to get into as well. More on the Tigers and their battle in Wichita and the Grizzlies game in Philadelphia. And then we'll talk with Matt Babcock from Babcock Sports. He's an NBA draft analyst. We'll get his thoughts on what it looks like for the 2023 draft with Victor Wembanyama being right at the top. We'll get back to your calls and texts as well. 901-360-8255 or message us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or at www.sportsmemphis.com. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Save on the furniture and mattresses you want during the President's Day sale at the Great American Home Store. Everything's on sale, from bedroom to dining room, recliners, sectional sofas, and those comfy sleep sets. Top American-made brands including Southern Motion, Corinthian, England, Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, Restonic, and more. American-made sofas as low as $6.99. Kick back and relax in a new recliner, rocker recliners, gliders, and lift chairs. Shop our huge selection of casual to formal dining sets. And nobody offers a better selection of sofas, sectionals, reclining sofas. Saving store-wide off our already low prices. If you choose to pay cash, the more you buy, the more you save. Or take advantage of special financing up to 5 years with no minimum purchase and no money down. Come in today to one of Great American's huge showrooms in Memphis and South Haven. Or shop and buy online at GoGAHS.com. The President's Day sale now at the Great American Home Store.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. You've known the name for 30 years. You might even remember him from nearly 20 years on Kix 106 as half of the Young and Elder Show. Now, 13 years later, Brian Elder is the largest purchaser of Owens Corning shingles in Memphis. Call him right now, 867-0303. Certified and trained by Owens Corning to earn a reputation for quality and expertise matched by no one. Don't let them tell you it has to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. Call right now, 867-0303. He'll climb every inch of your roof. He'll go into your attic and run a moisture and ventilation test using state-of-the-art equipment to make certain you're protected from mold and other contaminants. You may be causing respiratory problems for your family and not even know it. We're waiting for your call, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call
Both 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte LXS, PE 581,756, MSRP 21,985, Sorrento PG 183,422, MSRP 23,405. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Jeff, my man, what's going on over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah? Look, I know you got something up your sleeve to blow me away.
You bet I do, Randy. Gas prices are high, but we've got you covered with 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS at $278 a month. $27.99 due at signing, and a 7-passenger SUV ready to ride in a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $378 a month. $34.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if I don't see exactly what I want,
I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Hey, Zeke, how's it going? Oh, it's going great. Look, I just started the Central Barbecue Diet. Haven't heard of it. Well, then, I tell you what. You just sit down right there, and I will tell you everything that you need to know about the Central Barbecue Diet.
Eating Central Barbecue exclusively has not been shown in clinical studies to reduce weight. Eating a diet of exclusively Central Barbecue has not been proven to make you more popular, attractive, and intelligent, although it almost certainly would. Plus, you know what? Who am I to tell you how to live your life? Do what you want. Take up golf. Get a puppy. Learn to crochet. Eat Central Barbecue 3 meals a day. It's your life. Don't let some disclaimer guy on a Central Barbecue commercial tell you what to do. You're a person. Live your life. Eat barbecue.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
A lot of new accidents popping up here. Still working an accident on Pine Hill at Great View. That's Pine Hill at Great View. New accidents, Cordova at Autumn Creek. Accident on Lamar at Rains. And then accident on Airways at 240. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gonna put the world away for a minute. Pretend I don't live.
Welcome back. 9:04 the time. Interesting 2 hours to this point, to say the least. 1 hour to go. Matt Babcock will join us at 9:25, NBA draft analyst. That'll be fun. A lot of interesting names right now in the mock drafts, including Matthew Morrell from Ole Miss and a Memphian. Yesterday, Ole Miss looked like they were going to pull the upset against Auburn at Auburn, but Auburn ends up making the plays down the stretch to win it 78-74.
The closing of games has been an issue. Morrell did have a pretty good night last night. He still didn't shoot three. He has not shot the three well this year. Ole Miss, I was looking up Ole Miss's offensive numbers on KenPom. To say they can't shoot the ball is a bit of an understatement. Ole Miss is 354th in the country in three-point percentage. They are 259th in two-point percentage and 285th in free throw percentage.
Jeez.
It's tough to score. You can't if
tough to win.
If 2-point shots don't go in, 3-point shots don't go in, and free throws don't go in, it is really, really hard to score.
No other options.
No, they haven't put the 4-point shot in yet. So if you don't have the 4-point shot, the 1s, 2s, and 3s need to go in.
I hate burying anybody, but let's be honest here. There is no question, as nice a guy as he is and as good a coach as I think he is, Kermit Davis is not going to be back as the head coach at Ole Miss. There's just no chance that he's going to be able to retain his job after the season. And the question is, at Ole Miss, and Keith Carter's done a great job, I think, as their athletics director, a former Ole Miss Rebel himself, what type of coach will they be able to bring in when it is obviously a secondary program to not only football, but maybe even baseball?
Not maybe.
Is that a definite?
Yeah, it's clearly the third sport down there.
Okay, so it's the third sport. What type of coach can you realistically get?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the right coach is. I don't know what they can get. I mean, Kermit has recruited pretty darn well for Ole Miss. And has a pretty good recruiting class coming in for next year, especially by Ole Miss standards.
And why wouldn't you be able to recruit? It's in the SEC, for goodness sakes.
But there's no tradition at all. Like it's just, I mean, basketball there is just not.
When Rod Barnes was there, he had them going, and they were going to the NCAA tournament every year. We were covering them at ABC 24 all around the country when they were going to the tournament. I know it doesn't have this long-lasting tradition, and I understand that, but when you're talking college basketball, you're talking basically, 12 to 15 scholarships? This isn't football. And you should be – and Mississippi is an incredibly talented and rich recruiting area for people. And maybe you don't get the top dogs. They go to Kentucky or Duke or North Carolina or what have you. But you should still be able to get those guys in that state. The Provine Posse, I remember those three guys, how good they were to lead Ole Miss to the NCAA tournament. I just think with all the resources that you have at any Power 5, not any Power 5 school, but a Power 5 school not named Vanderbilt in the SEC, you should be a lot better. And I think you'll still be able to get a decent coach. You may not get a big name, but you should be able to get a decent coach, I would think, even though basketball plays third fiddle.
Yeah, man. Again, they've had decent coaches, and Andy Kennedy had success there.
Mm-hmm.
Kermit had success in his first year there. But again, it's a hard recruiting sell. Like it is. Like it's there's a track record there. Like it's tough to. You're not going out and get a bunch of big time recruits there. Again, Kermit has recruited pretty well. He's got these 4-star kids. He's got it. It hasn't worked out this year. Obviously the transfer portal. He has hit the transfer portal hard. That hasn't worked out as well as they would have liked. It's a hard job.
But money will not be an issue in luring a coach to Oxford. The problem will be whether or not they think they can win and win consistently and win big in Oxford. But you'll be given some time. There's no question about that. You will be given the time, and Kermit's been given the time. And like you said, he started out like gangbusters, and I still think he's a really good coach, but they will absolutely make a move.
I mean, they've got 9 NCAA tournament appearances in their history.
I know.
Like there's not, and 3 times they've gone to the round of 32. 1 Sweet 16 appearance in the entire history of the program. There's not much to sell to kids.
Right, but it's not Eastern Kentucky, for goodness sakes. It's not a small program where, again, they can't lure a pretty good name coach, and then they turn around and they get a couple of guys. And, of course, a lot of it's going to have to do with the NIL. And I'm not sure how Ole Miss is doing. I would imagine they're doing pretty decent. Not Texas A&M, but they'll have that money, hopefully, to be able to lure some players to Oxford as well. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting offseason because I can't imagine that they won't go in that direction. From the NFL, Titans made some moves yesterday. Rand Carthon, man, he's come in like gangbusters. Cut Taylor Lewan, who was hurt most of the year last year. Cut Robert Woods, who also got injured. Kicker Randy Bullock also cut. They're trying to get under the cap to maybe do some things here in the offseason.
Yeah, they're like many other teams are in a camp or a cap mess, and you got to figure out ways to do it. So it's cutting guys, it's reworking contracts, it's all of those things, and that's part of it. And with those, talking about Luan, a guy who's the injuries and all that stuff. I can't remember what his number was that he saved them, but he saves them a lot of money and dealing with injuries, all that stuff. He knew it was coming, and that's the way in the NFL.
Yesterday, as we switched to the NBA, we talked about the firing of Nate McMillan in Atlanta, and a number of names surfaced. The one that was prominent out there was Quinn Snyder, the former Utah Jazz head coach. But last night, a report came out that they may be looking at Ime Udoka, the former Celtics coach, who was let go because of the relationship he was having with the female staffer and all that. I'd be surprised if they went down that avenue, but that's out there.
Well, there's a lot of reports today that they're trying to get Quinn Snyder hired here very quickly. So it looks like, now again, I don't know where Quinn stands and where they're, but I mean, they are they are in talks with him and trying to hire him very, very quickly.
What's the rush?
They may want him to coach the rest of the season.
Really? Jump right into the fire. I would think that normally it would be because you don't want another organization who needs a head coach to grab him before you do. But right now, there's no openings. We're in a season. And, sometimes this happens. Sometimes it doesn't. It happened in Brooklyn with Steve Nash. And now you got Jacques Vaughn, who not only has done a good job, but he got a contract extension the other day. But in the offseason, I can understand being a little bit more in a fevered pitch to get your guy, if you've zeroed in on your guy, hired, because other teams may make moves as well. But, yeah, I like Quinn Snyder. I think he did a good job at Utah. But I saw that story yesterday about Udoka. I wasn't sure how serious they would consider him. But, again, that was out there as a story. Tonight, the two big stories around these parts, of course, are the Tigers and the Grizzlies back in action, but both on the road, with the Tigers at Wichita State and the Grizzlies at the 76ers. Again, as we talked about earlier with the Tigers, 3 games remaining, regular season. You know what's going on. Wichita State, 4 games remaining in the regular season. 3 games that you absolutely better win. Tonight at Wichita State, Sunday, home against Cincinnati, and then next week at SMU. I think it's next Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And then Sunday, of course, will be the regular season finale against Houston.
Sean Texan says, haven't the Tigers built up enough sweat equity on their resume? Why are we in a must-win situation when we already went 4-1 versus the SEC and took their top team down to the wire on the road? Penny built a good schedule this season and took care of business to get in the tournament as an at-large.
All good points. Good points and a fair question. But
you took Alabama down to the wire, but you lost the game. So it would have been a great win, but it's a loss. In the end, it was a loss.
And they don't consider moral victories.
A win over Ole Miss doesn't matter. Ole Miss is one of the worst teams. The win over Vanderbilt. Well,
it looks better.
It looks better, but it's not a quad 1 win. It's a quad 2 win. The reason they're in this situation is because. What do you think the schedule is? They got 2 quad 1 wins. They just don't have the good wins on their resume. They don't have enough of it. They haven't had many opportunities, but they don't have enough of those good quality wins. They only have the one bad loss, the quad 3 loss, but it's just a lack of good wins. And a part of that is, again, because there's been a lack of opportunity for those wins when you compare them to a lot of the other schools who may have had 8, 9, 10, 11 quad 1 games that they had a chance to get those wins.
Well, again, if you look at the bracketologists, and they're not the end-all, be-all, but believe me, Palm and Lenardi, they're good. They get most of the teams that they predict to be in the field. They're right on most of those occasions. But if you look at them, where is Memphis? Memphis is in, but they're not securely in the sense that a loss to a 120, what did you say they were, 126, 127 net team?
Wichita State's 125 today.
Yeah, you lose a 125, even though it's a roadie, that's going to hurt you. And while you're inside the bubble, the good side of the bubble, that could put you on the outside of the bubble. That's why I say it's a must-win. Now, you turn around, you could tell me that they're going to beat Houston at home, they're going to play in the conference tournament, they're going to do well, maybe. I guess if they finish third, they'd be on the other side of Houston. So the only time they would face Houston if they obviously both win all the way into the finals. So obviously if you beat Houston a second time, you get the AQ. And this discussion is moot. But if you win on Sunday, maybe you survive a loss at Wichita State. That's if you can win 2 Sundays from now against Houston. But for the sake of this discussion, let's assume they don't beat Houston, the number 1 team in the country. These next 3 games, they're all bad losses. If you lose to Cincinnati, you're losing to them at home. SMU is horrid. And Wichita State is average, and it's on the road. And you're right on the bubble. You would be on the outside looking in. That's why I call this the must-win portion of the schedule this season. It's
must win because you got swept by Tulane. You lost to UCF. Like you took some losses that you don't have the wins to make up for. The conference doesn't present opportunities for great wins other than one team. And you had one chance at them, played well, but again, in the end, it was a loss. You could talk about, hey, we played Alabama real close. We played Houston close, even without Kendrick Davis. But in the end, it's a loss. So, like, when the resume is there, like, okay, well, that's great. You played them close, but you lost the game. So that doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, and again, Tulane, you lost both games. So one of them, obviously a home loss. That's bad. Losing at home to teams that are inferior from a net standpoint, that's not good on your resume. UCF, you lost there. But UCF, I don't know what's happened to those guys. They've had some injuries, but they just got swept during the regular season by USF, which is one of the teams at the bottom of the conference. So UCF lost another game. You lost to them there, and as we know from the other day, barely beat them here after the Kendrick Davis injury. Had to get a miracle play from Demarie Franklin to win that game. So that's why these games are must, because it's tenuous. Their situation right now, they are right there on that border, and it could go one way or the other. And you are not helping yourself if you lose this game tonight.
I mean, Wichita State, you could talk about, at home. They've lost at home to Alcorn State. They've lost at home to East Carolina. They've lost at home to UCF. They've lost a lot of home games. This is just not a very good Wichita State team.
No,
you got to beat. You just can't afford a loss like this because again, you just don't have opportunities to make up for it.
What are they? 500 at home?
They're 7-7 at home.
Yeah, 7-7 at home. So again, I mean, you could disagree with me, but I think it's pretty accurate that if you lose tonight, tomorrow, the brackets will be updated by Palm and Lunardi. I can't imagine they wouldn't have Memphis out. I would think Memphis would be out. If somehow they lost tonight and we're back and we're still in the bracket tomorrow, that would be nothing short of a miracle, in my opinion.
And then also, I'm glad you brought up the wins, the lack of wins, because I was kind of just going through their schedule, the teams that they played this year, and I think most of the teams, I guess in their non-conference, they're projecting those teams to say, okay, yeah, they're going to be really good in conference because they've been good last year. I mean, St. Louis? You thought they were going to be good this year? They okay. Nebraska, Seton Hall. I mean, Nebraska and Stanford. That was just a tournament situation. Seton Hall, you thought they could be good, but they're kind of in the middle of their conference. So it's like outside of the SEC, you got like a mixed bag of okay, yeah, VCU is good, but Seton Hall and St. Louis, they've been bad.
Yeah, look, I don't want to
St. Louis, the loss at St. Louis when it happened, you didn't think, well, on the road, and that's probably going to be a pretty good team. I don't know why St. Louis hasn't been better than what I thought St. Louis, with the talent they have, was going to be really good in the A-10. And so you thought, a loss on the road at St. Louis, that loss has not turned out to be as good as it's turned out to be worse than you thought it was at the time.
No question, but I am certainly not going to knock this schedule. I think Penny went out and built a really good, tough schedule. And remember, he's trying to get Kentucky in a home and home and Kansas in a home. He's reaching out to all these teams. And they're saying, nah, maybe we'll play in a neutral court one year. So to be able to put together a schedule like that was challenging.
Yeah.
I think they did everything look, if they had beaten Alabama, they lost by 3 points at Alabama. The closest anybody's come to beating Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And I think that if they had won that game, we wouldn't be talking about a must tonight. It would probably be they'd still have a lot of cushion
but if they
even with a loss.
But that's hard. But if they would have just beaten Seton Hall and beaten St. Louis, they wouldn't be in that situation.
Oh,
right now.
There's no question about it. Seton Hall was a freak.
It's going to be hard to beat Alabama at Alabama, but it shouldn't be that hard to beat St. Louis and beat Seton Hall and beat Tulane and beat UCF.
Oh, no question.
That's what who cares about the Alabama game? Win the games that you should win. That's the ones you got to, that's what puts you in the situation, is taking those losses.
Well, again, Seton Hall, they lost some players from last year's run. It's a Big East team. They lost on a freak bank shot. I don't know if Memphis was Memphis the favorite in that game? I think they were, but it might have been they were a slight favorite. It ends up being a fairly bad loss. Seton Hall, as Zach just said, right in the middle of the Big East. They're taking their lumps. I mean, it's the first year for, was it Holloway? What's his name? Mm-hmm. Willard went to Maryland, so he left. The coach left, so they're down a little bit. Yeah, in hindsight, you look back and you go, St. Louis, man, that ends up being a bad loss. But losing normally at St. Louis is not the worst thing. The Tulane losses, the home loss to Tulane is the one that'll really bite you. But I'm saying that they had a chance to win against Alabama, go 5-0 against the SEC. The win at Vanderbilt to open the season was a good, solid win. Vanderbilt's way better now than they were in the opener, so it makes it look a little bit better, that win. Auburn's a little worse than when you played them. But still, you went on a neutral court, you beat them. Neutral court's not going to help you as much as it would have been at Auburn. You had your chance. Like I said at Alabama, the Ole Miss win is like, it's a good thing you didn't lose that one because Ole Miss is so bad. So, but the schedule we put together, you can't guess how good a team will be when you're putting this schedule together. I think he did a great job in putting this schedule together. But
yeah,
and there have been circumstances on some of these losses, obviously. But if they don't have Kendrick Davis, hopefully they will. This is going to be a really close game tonight, maybe even with Kendrick Davis. And God forbid if you didn't have him moving forward. And I haven't heard any word about that the injury's worse than what everybody's again, nobody knows. So just the projection is that he'll be back sooner than later. Well, God forbid if it's worse and he's out, then you're dead in the water. Because this is a team this year dependent upon two stars, Davis and Williams. You need both those guys on the court no matter who you're playing. We saw that with UCF when Davis went out and they almost lost that game. Memphis is a average team, maybe even a tad below average without those guys because they have supplementary players who are role players but not stars and nobody that can carry them when you move on into a conference tournament or even the NCAA tournament. All right. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, Matt Babcock, all things NBA draft. He's next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5
FM. Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tiger fans, Memphis returns to FedEx Forum to face American Conference rival Cincinnati Sunday, February 26 at 1. Come watch the Tigers continue to work toward back-to-back NCAA appearances in their second-to-last home game of the regular season. The first 6,000 fans receive a free blue T-shirt. Get there early to enjoy pregame wrestling outside the main entrance. Sunday, February 26 at 1 against Cincinnati. Wear blue and go Tigers go.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and the market is starting to crank back up. While we had a slowdown late last year, the rates are coming down and I'm seeing multiple offers again. And if you want to participate in 2023, think of me. Do not list your home without talking to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure that Kelly Erb and I are one of them. I've had people say that I must feel confident to tell people that, and yes, I do. We have a highly successful strategic marketing program that can make the difference in how much you make and when. Find out why people often say that when you want the job done, call Sheldon at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Or you can also call my marketing partner, Kelly Erb, at 355-3830.
Call me, Kelly Erb, at 355-3830 or Sheldon at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. Remember, call me, Kelly Erb, at 355-3830.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
It may be cold, but the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event will heat you up. Discover a new way to ride in your 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage and get 39 MPG combined for $17,520 or $289 a month and 0 down. And check out 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport for $29 a month, 29 MPG Highway, or get 2.9 for 36 months. Want peace of mind? We Gossett with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage, $289 per month. 2023 Outlander Sport, $429 per month. You won't go wrong ever when you shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage PH 02846, MSRP 18020, Sport PU 02230, MSRP 29545, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Grease lightning.
Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:29. A little more than 30 minutes to go here on the program as we welcome you back to the show. Greg, Eli, and Zach with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, their preseason patio and pool sale going on right now at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. We always enjoy talking draft and the prospects that are out there with our friend Matt Babcock, the owner and founder of Matt Babcock Hoops, and a terrific NBA draft analyst, been around the game for a long time. As we welcome Matt to the program, you can follow him on Twitter at MattBabcock11. Matt, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. This is going to be fun. The 2023 draft is going to be very interesting, which we'll get to in a second, especially at the very top. Before we do that, though, let me ask you about, I know there's mocks already out there for 2024. Have you seen Bronny James play? And what do you think about him, not only playing a year probably in college, if that's the route he goes, but in the NBA?
Yeah, no, I've seen him play a lot. I mean, I've tracked him for several years. Obviously, he's got a lot of attention. I mean, pretty much from the get-go, as soon as he started playing in high school. And initially, I was pretty skeptical. I didn't necessarily see it, and he's gotten a lot better. He's grown, really, has gotten a better feel for the game, and just a terrific shooter and just an outstanding athlete. I mean, he's not nearly as big as his dad, but I mean, jumps out of the gym just like he does. As far as pegging him as a top 10 pick, I personally I don't release a mock draft this early. I think it's really hard to do. So I mean, I'm not ready to say that's a done deal. But he has gotten a lot better.
So you, if his name wasn't James, you think he would still be on the radars?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, he's a world-class athlete and shoots the ball. It's two things that translate very well. I mean, my hold up with him is he's probably only about 6'3", and he's not a natural ball handler. He's improved there, but he's much more of an off-ball shooter and scorer, which it kind of creates some limitations. But yeah, no, I do think he would be a relevant prospect, even if his last name wasn't James.
All right, so this year's draft, obviously the big name at the top is Victor Wembanyama. Some teams people feel are playing to get that number one pick, although we know that coming in last doesn't guarantee that. I saw yesterday, somebody had posted this. I think I saw a repost, but they said Victor Wembanyama, he's a ball handler as good as Pete Maravich and a three-point shooter as good as Steph Curry. I think that's absolutely crazy, but I do know the guy is an 8-foot wingspan and he's 7'4". Just how good is he? Are we seeing one of those, they call them once in a generation type players?
No, absolutely. I mean, the kid's a total unicorn as a prospect. I mean, to say he's, arguably the best ball handler of all time and best shooter of all time, like that's a bit of a stretch. But I mean, for a guy with his measurements, to be able to do what he does, even on a decent level, is really, unheard of. Being able to shoot threes and handle the ball. And I mean, he's really like a perimeter player that's, 7'5". And so there just really hasn't been the whole guys like him. I mean, he's sort of like the modern day, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Ralph Sampson, if you will, just being, so big and skilled. And he's just sort of like this new adaptation of modern basketball, of guys this size doing these things. And so somebody's going to get a good player. I mean, hopefully that everything checks out with him medically. I mean, I haven't heard any issues, but with such a unique body type, I mean, I am, maybe a little concerned that something could pop up there. But just a generational talent.
Tonight and tomorrow night, the G League Ignite are here in town to take on the Memphis Hustle in G League games, and I'll be doing the games. And I'm interested to see Scoot Henderson, certainly, whoever I guess most people believe will be the number 2 pick, the consolation prize to Wembanyama. What do you think of Henderson?
Yeah, I love Scoot too. Excuse me. And I've known Scoot for a couple of years now. His one of his mentors in Atlanta was one of my coaches and mentors when I was in high school in Atlanta. And they had me come out to the family's gym. They have a gym right by their house, and got a chance to meet with them and get to know Scoot. And I knew back then that this kid was going to be a guy that maximized his potential. I mean, he was doing 2-3 a day workouts as a 16-year-old during the pandemic. I mean, just really, it was apparent that he was wired the right way. Sort of had that Kobe Bryant mentality of just do what it takes to improve, and that's exactly what he's done. I mean, he's got talent. I mean, he's an on-ball creator that's extremely explosive. He's got these big hands. He's got like Kawhi Leonard type hands for being a point guard, and dunks everything. Is just ultra competitive and tough. I mean, aside from Victor, I think he's clearly the next guy up.
The other guy that I'm interested in seeing is Leonard Miller, who I think is projected by most as a first-round pick. What about him?
Yeah, Leonard Miller, he put his name in the draft last year. He went to the combine. He struggled a little bit, but the intrigue was there. I mean, he's got great size, being, he's probably about 6'9", and just sort of a well-rounded skill set. I think the thing for him was kind of putting it all together and kind of, being a little bit more of a seamless player utilizing all of his tools. And I think he's done that. He's had a good year for the G League Ignite, and I do think he's played himself into probably being a first-round pick.
From Leonard Miller to Brandon Miller, who unfortunately has been in the news for some wrong things and has been in the news for some right things, like a 41-point performance last night in Alabama's win over South Carolina. A 2-part question. 1, just how good is he? And number 2, does everything that happened with the death of that woman in Tuscaloosa and just his name being out there, not in the shooting, but obviously in other areas, does it affect his draft status?
Yeah, to answer the first part, basketball-wise, I mean, I've seen it since the early part of the year. I mean, I watched him in high school, too, and was always intrigued. And it seemed like everything started clicking this year for him. And I was in Portland over Thanksgiving at the Phil Knight Invitational. And, I mean, he blew me away. I put him in the top 5, right away after seeing him. And, he just keeps going. I mean, last night, was a perfect example, just strictly from a basketball scouting perspective. All this adversity and scrutiny he's dealing with, to go out there and put up 41 points in a competitive game. I mean, I was blown away from a basketball perspective. And as far as the off the court stuff, it's definitely not a good look any way you split it. I do think his lawyers, the release they put out yesterday, I do think kind of creates some reasonable doubt as far as what his intent was and everything. And so I mean, all these teams are going to do their homework, but I'm hoping it's something that he could kind of just move on from, and just sort of an unfortunate situation that his teammates kind of put him in a bad spot. And the other thing too is having done homework on him in the past, this isn't a guy that's got a checkered past, right, or is known to be a bad kid. And so I am hopeful that it just looks a lot worse than it actually was as far as his involvement in that. But yeah, basketball wise, I'm very excited about him.
The two young freshmen from Arkansas, Anthony Black, Nick Smith. Now, Smith has missed a lot of time with injuries, but did have a good game over the weekend. I think it was, or maybe it was earlier this week. But which one of those do you like more? Which one goes first in the draft?
Well, I mean, Anthony Black's had a really solid year. Obviously, Nick Smith has been really up and down with being out and all that. Nick Smith has probably got more upside. I think he's got a chance of being very dynamic as a guard. Guy that could make a lot happen. Then Anthony Black, I mean, he's interesting because he's got great size. I mean, he's like 6'7" plus. They've played him at point guard some with Nick Smith out, and kind of just does everything. So I think he's a safe pick of just being a guy that could fit in the NBA and probably a lot of different roles. But I still would say I think Nick Smith possesses more upside, probably a little bit more risk just with this year being so screwy for him.
Is Grady Dick from Kansas the best pure shooter available?
I think so. I mean, he's it's interesting because he's got great size. He's almost 6'8", good athlete and tough. He's one of these guys that has got this confidence where, I mean, I trust that he could hit shots even at a low volume, early on in his career, which is really valuable and a hard thing to do. And I work on the side for Cerebro Sports, the analytics company that's backed by Mark Cuban, and they've got all kinds of trusted data from high school. And so, I mean, there's like 100 games or data points from that, and he's a career like 40+% shooter, which to me there's proof in the pudding. You can't fake that. And so passes the eye test and passes the numbers test as well.
Well, speaking of great size, Zach Edey, where does he fit in, if at all, in the NBA?
Yeah, these big body traditional fives, they've become polarizing prospects just because the NBA game has changed so much. Obviously, he's so dominant in college. I mean, he's pretty much carried that team all year. And I question how he'll fit in the NBA. I do think he'll get a shot, whether that's being drafted or however he has to kind of claw his way in. He is effective enough. Somebody will give him a shot some way or another. But the defensive end, I mean, it's a spread out fast game. For a big bodied five like that, it's definitely going to hold him back on some level or another.
And then another guy, certainly a different pipe player, but another big guy who's having a great year in the Big Ten, Trace Jackson Davis.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about him. I love that guy.
Yeah, no, he keeps getting better. I mean, you can't deny his productivity. Sort of a similar conversation as Edey. Different players. I mean, Trace is more of an undersized five, but still kind of the same idea. More of a low post scorer, not a perimeter threat. And I do think, I mean, he'll get drafted and he'll get a shot. I mean, he's going to have to kind of claw his way in though, because the style of play just isn't coming on a premium at this point.
All right, some area players, Matt, that may hear their names second round, may not hear their names called at all. What do you think of Matthew Morrell from Ole Miss?
Yeah, no, I've liked Matthew Morrell. He's had an up and down year. I mean, I don't know where his numbers are at the moment. I know he was struggling to shoot the ball efficiently early, but I do like his style. Just a scoring off ball guard that's tough. And I think he's definitely got a shot.
All right, a couple of guys at Memphis are interesting because you have I think DeAndre Williams is a hell of a player. I'm not sure if he's NBA, but he's 26. And then you have Kendrick Davis, who is small, but is a really good college basketball scorer. Do either one of those and their games and their situations project to the NBA somewhere?
Yeah, I think both kids will have a chance. I don't project that either one of them will be drafted, but it wouldn't shock me. Similar to what I was saying with traditional bigs, I think undersized guards are kind of in the same boat. The game has really turned into a very switchable, type game, positionless, if you will. And most of the guys being drafted are in the 6'4" to 6'8" range. So, a guy like Kendrick, he's not overly valuable compared to how guys like that would have been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a good player. I mean, everybody's gonna take a look. Everybody's familiar with him. And I think he's done a terrific job this year after coming from SMU.
Well, speaking of big guards, what about Imani Bates? What has he done with this year that he's had at Eastern Michigan to repair kind of his image and the thought of him at the NBA level?
Yeah, I mean, obviously just a very polarizing prospect. And I think this year has been very up and down. I mean, there's been some moments where you're just like, hey, I see why this kid was so highly touted. There's still a lot of upside there, but there's still a lot of looming questions. And, his whole approach, he somewhat seems like a ticking time bomb at times as far as his composure, which scares me a little bit because is he good enough to be such an alpha dog?
Mm-hmm.
But when he gets it going, it's undeniable. He's an extremely great shot maker. And, to think about, okay, worst case scenario, can you bring this kid off the bench as a spark plug and build from there? Yeah, maybe. And I think somebody, if he were to be in this year's draft, which my bet is that he will, somebody will give him a shot.
Obviously, we're only in February. There's a long way to go, and everybody has the mock drafts out there. Is there anybody that you're looking at right now that may be projected later in the first round, maybe early second, that you think has a great chance to move up?
Yeah, there's a couple guys that are kind of off the beaten path a little bit that are gaining some steam. Taylor Hendricks from Central Florida and Maxwell Lewis from Pepperdine. Their names have been buzzing all year, especially being guys that aren't at Power 5 schools. I could see them moving up. I mean, we had it last year with Jalen Williams from Santa Clara, who ended up being a lottery pick and has done really well for the Thunder this year. Those are two names that come to mind first.
By the way, we don't need any more Jalen Williams in the NBA. There's just too many of them. I get them confused.
Well, they're
all on the same team.
Yeah, they're all. They're all. To me, one of the great stories in college basketball this year is Keontae Johnson and his comeback. And when people thought he was never going to be able to play again, and now he's out there and he's playing extremely well at Kansas State. Is he where do you think he is in the draft?
It's a tough one because I don't have the clear-cut medical information. When I was an agent, I had some players that dealt with some hard stuff, and the NBA is very careful with it. And, I'd like to gather more information to see, if it's going to be a red flag for teams or not. I mean, I know he's cleared, obviously playing college, but for example, I had a player that played at Texas for 4 years and was cleared all 4 years and got red flagged across the board in the NBA. So I do need more information on that, and I'm hoping that he gets cleared, obviously, because basketball-wise, he's legit. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago at Florida, I had him as a mid-first-round pick, and he's just gotten better since then. I mean, just a very tough physical wing that I think could, at the very least, be a solid role player that can contribute to winning. So time will tell, but fingers crossed that all that checks out for him.
He is NBA draft analyst and owner and founder of Babcock Hoops. He is Matt Babcock. You can follow him on Twitter, and I suggest you do, at Matt Babcock11. Matt, it's always great to have you on. Hopefully we can do it again later in the spring, kind of update where everything stands. We always appreciate your time.
No, it sounds great. Yeah, keep in touch, guys.
Thank you, Matt.
It's just weird when you think of guys like Zach Edey who could be that dominant at the college level, but in today's world, like there's just not a spot for him in the NBA. It just doesn't. The game is just different.
Can he step out and shoot a three, Edey? He's not Walker Kessler.
No, Zach Edey is
just doesn't
simply
move.
around the rim.
Just
like,
doesn't move
as
well.
he said, like you just defensively, you can't switch with him. Anybody would drive right around him. Like he just doesn't have the foot speed to do it. Like
he's like a mountain with feet.
Yeah, it's just. He reminds me a lot of Yao Ming. Yao Ming wouldn't have a spot really in today's NBA.
That's hard to believe.
The game has just changed so much to spreading the floor, pick and roll. You got to be able to switch. You got to be able to cover guys, and it's just those guys don't have that ability. Sunrise, the original location, 670 Jefferson Avenue. Now the new Sunrise East on Poplar Avenue in East Memphis, right there in the old Blue Plate Cafe building. When it comes to breakfast, when it comes to lunch, fantastic place. They're known mostly for the breakfast. And, of course, with Sunrise as the name, you figure that breakfast is the specialty. But don't forget about the great lunch items on the menu as well. Open up for breakfast and lunch every day for you to go by there. They got the great selection of Bloody Marys that you could take advantage of. But the breakfast biscuit sandwiches with their homemade biscuits, those fantastic square biscuits that they've got, plus all of the other plates. The lunch menu, from the bacon cheeseburger to the French dip type thing that they've got, which I'm a big fan of. You could check them out at Sunrise. You could go to sunrise901.com. That's the website where you can check out menu, order online for pickup as well. Again, the original location on Jefferson, 670 Jefferson Avenue, and the newest location out in East Memphis on Poplar Avenue in the old Blue Plate Cafe building, Sunrise East. Check them out. They are Sunrise Memphis.
If you're planning on supporting, watching, going to the games for the Showboats, maybe even the Houston Gamblers, it's a pod. They're both here in Memphis. The USFL has just announced ticket prices for the upcoming season. We'll give you that information when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, everybody. I'm out here in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, and
you don't think about a lawyer until something goes wrong. When that happens, let attorney Stephen Leffler fight for
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops and go farther and faster with the new G430 woods and irons from
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's Handmade.
Hi, folks. The Chevy Sheriff with good news for car and truck buyers. The Chevy Ranch has new cars and trucks in stock. Immediate delivery. Factory rebates up to $1,000 and Sunrise discounts high as $4,000. Immediate financing available with the interest low as 2.9%. A $15 million used car and toy with cars and trucks for every budget and a lot special.
All right. Not sure what's going on there. Little interesting little thing there, but nonetheless, we are back here, and we are our final segment of the program. And of course, this hour of our program each and every day is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. You can find Acura of Memphis on Ridgeway right there at 385. Online, AcuraofMemphis.com. The new Acura electric vehicles are going to be coming out very soon. You can get information on their website, or you just go talk to the folks at Acura Memphis about those. Of course, go take a test drive in any of the beautiful Acura automobiles, from a new vehicle to pre-owned vehicles, including certified pre-owned Acuras. You'll find them all at Acura of Memphis, and you're always going to get a great experience there. They got great people for you to deal with, and again, of course, great automobiles as well at Acura of Memphis. Raider Corey texted in, he said, I've always had a hard time with the seeded teams that are rewarded at the 8 or 9 seed. Okay, you win that game, but now you're almost 100% of the time going to play a number 1 seed. Any seed beyond those two, you have a better chance of advancing. Give me a 6, 7, 10, or 11. Heck, I'd even take a 12 before an 8 or a 9 seed.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah, again, I mean, it depends. If you don't think there's, you know, and Jerry Palm talked about yesterday, like the difference, you know, those teams in the middle of the bracket are all so close. Like there's not much difference. So if you don't think there's much difference between a 6 seed and an 8 seed, well, you'd much rather, be the 11 rather than the 9. Because, yes, the second round matchup is a heck of a lot easier than getting that 1 seed. So, the idea is you're getting the lower seed in the first round. But if you don't think there's much difference, or again, between a 5 and an 8, well, then take the 12 over the 9. No doubt about it. It's but that's just the way it is.
All right. So as I mentioned, USFL, they announced today ticket prices for the 2023 regular season at their 4 different host stadiums, 4 different pods, if you will. The USFL, according to Daryl Johnston, that's Moose Johnston, is the best value in professional sports. Here's what you can get at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. For 10 games, that includes 6 Showboats home games and 4 Houston Gamblers home games. 10 games, $120 total for midfield season tickets. Total. $90 for sideline season tickets. $30 for end zone season tickets. $40 for midfield individual game, $25 for sideline individual game, and $10 for end zone individual game. So buying those season tickets obviously is a great deal. Again, $120 midfield, $90 sideline, $30 end zone for 10 games, including 6 for the Showboats. If you are interested, may not be your cup of tea.
Yeah, we'll obviously, I think their crowds will be a lot of probably some weather-dependent stuff in a lot of situations, but we'll see. I think there are some people that I think are interested and want to get out there and see the fact, the nostalgia of the Showboats. I think has some people interested, so we'll see.
You gave the numbers earlier in the week of some of the television ratings from last weekend, and it was a busy sports weekend. There was a lot of things going on. It was also the start of the XFL 3.0, and the numbers were down significantly, about 30% from the reboot, the XFL 2.0, if you will. Do you think it's because of the NFL season wrapping up, the Super Bowl wrapping up, and then people were like, all right, let me take a breather from football? I mean, their thought is let's piggyback right off the end of the NFL season because people want to just continue to watch football. Do you think it's let me rest a little bit before we jump back into football? Do you think it was how busy the weekend was with all the sports going on, All-Star Game, NBA All-Star Game, Daytona 500? Or do you just think that the reboot of the XFL, there's just that much less people interested?
I don't know. I mean, the one thing that to me about the XFL that it was really surprising, there wasn't a whole lot of promotion of it.
No, there wasn't.
Which surprised the heck out of me. I'm surprised we didn't see The Rock all over ESPN constantly going up to those. But we just didn't. Especially really they waited till after the last week. That's when they did. But up until the Super Bowl, there was no promotion of the XFL that it was coming, right after this. So I don't know. I don't know how much that may have played effect into it. I don't know. I don't know what people's interest level is in football this time of year, and football that they, regardless of however you want to promote it, they're going to view it as minor league. And so I just don't know what the people's appetite for it is.
What's interesting is that The Rock and his show, Young Rock, is now filmed in Memphis. He's a big supporter of the XFL, obviously.
He's the owner of the
XFL, yeah. But again, my point, he's XFL, yet Memphis will now have a USFL team, which will go against the XFL a few weeks, right? They're going to overlap.
There's certainly a little bit of crossover.
Yeah, there's a little bit of crossover. And that's the thing that worries me about the USFL. If the XFL's 30% down from the rebooted XFL 2.0, do people get burned out watching XFL if they do care to watch it? And then all of a sudden now they're not watching the USFL. Around here will be a different story because obviously they have a team. I'm not sure how much they'll support it, but they'll have a team. That'll be interesting how that works out.
The tonight the XFL game is on. Is it X? I think it's on FX. They got a Thursday night game on FX, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
And I think one of the other games this week is on FX. A Thursday night game on FX, I think could be trouble trying to draw viewers there.
There was a story yesterday that came out. It was Matt Zenitz, senior national college football reporter, who says that Texas player personnel analyst Tony Shields is expected to be hired as director of player personnel at Memphis. Again, I haven't heard anything officially from the school, but that's interesting. Player personnel, and that's really what it is now. You need a director of player personnel with everything that's going on with the transfer portal and, of course, the normal recruiting. Tonight, the Grizzlies in action in Philadelphia, And the Tigers at Wichita State, it will be a busy Thursday night. We'll be back tomorrow bright and early starting at 7 a.m. to recap those two games.
Tonight it is on FX.
Well, I can tell you around here.
St. Louis and Seattle tonight on FX at 8 o'clock.
Well, as much as...
It's also on ESPN Plus, but it's on TV. And then they've got Saturday, one of the games is on FX, and then the other game is on ESPN. Or no, there's just one game Saturday. That's on FX as well. So and then Sunday, they've got ESPN and ESPN2. But, yeah, so their FX is going to be a hard one to try and draw viewers to.
Well, especially around here, because tonight, as I mentioned, we got the NBA with the Grizzlies in action. That game will tip at 6:30, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And the Tigers tonight will tip at 6 from the Koch Center in Wichita as they will take on the Wichita State Shockers. Big thanks to Marvin Stockwell and Matt Babcock for joining us on the program today. And we also want to remind you that tomorrow, John Varlas will be back at 7:25 in his normal Friday spot. Matt Dillon will be back from Wichita and will join us at 8:25 for the Tiger Basketball Report, plus 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. That'll be coming up at around 9:25, 9:30 tomorrow.
Do you think Davis plays tonight?
I do. And that's no information, no inside information. Don't hold me to it, folks. But we haven't heard anything. Penny's been tight-lipped about it. He said day to day. Obviously, this ankle injury, of the 2 or 3 he's had this year, the most serious, no question. It's the same type of injury. It's not a high ankle sprain. But this is one of those threshold of pain. Can you play? And can you play 75, 80%, whatever?
That's a question. If he does play, how many minutes can you get out of him?
That's a great question, Eli. I don't know. I just know this, that thank God Lomax, even though he's not 100%, is back, because if they didn't have Davis and no Alex Lomax, we know what happened in that UCF game. They just discombobulated, turned the ball over, didn't have anybody to handle the rock, and you know that at least you'll have Lomax, but you won't have that offensive capability as far as scoring is concerned. So hopefully KD will be in the lineup tonight. Again, we'll be back tomorrow to talk about those two games, everything else that's going on in the world of sports. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. Wolo from Wichita, Kansas. For Eli Savoy and Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.